A carriage moved through the eerie forest, its wheels creaking as it entered the demon territory. Inside sat Sakaki Ryuto, his gaze distant and unreadable. The armored knight across from him broke the silence, declaring Ryuto's grim fate. Without reacting, Ryuto clenched his fist, a faint glow pulsing from the mark on his chest. He realized this nightmare had begun only a week ago. Ryuto and his classmates suddenly found themselves in a grand hall, greeted by a radiant woman who claimed they had arrived in another world called Addis. She explained that this land thrived through magic and supernatural power, home to many races. Confused, Ryuto recalled the moment before a normal day at school, interrupted by a violent earthquake. Realization struck him as he questioned if this strange scene was truly just a dream. The students learned they had been summoned to the Lux Empire through a powerful ritual. The kingdom's representatives explained that evil monsters threatened their world's peace, urging the new arrivals to use their strength against the Demon King. As the revelation sank in, confusion spread among them, realizing they had died in their original world and been brought here to fight in this unfamiliar land. Ryuto finally understood the truth: he had been summoned to another world. The thought of becoming a hero and defeating the Demon King filled him with excitement, as if living inside a game. Remembering his miserable life before, he saw this as a chance to start over. For the first time, he believed he could change everything and become someone important in this new world. One of the students, Isayama Shouta, calmly introduced himself and asked if they could return to their original world. The woman explained that while such a return was possible, it would only lead to death upon arrival. The shocking truth left everyone speechless, realizing escape was no longer an option. The students pledged their strength to help the new world, inspired by Shouta's resolve. As they raised their hands to have their statuses confirmed, Ryuto quietly accepted the truth. Watching the others stand out as heroes, he realized his role would be different. In his mind, he admitted that he wasn't the main character of this story. Each student revealed their status, showing incredible titles and powers: creators, masters, guardians, and even a saint brave. The observers were astonished by their potential, praising their divine abilities. Watching the excitement around him, Ryuto decided to check his own status, hoping that maybe it could change his fate in this new world. When Ryuto's status appeared, it revealed the title Hanged Man. Unlike the others, it offered no clear power, only a cryptic verse, foretelling suffering and struggle before reaching the light. Confusion spread as the onlookers studied the strange result, while the elder requested a private moment, clearly troubled by what he saw. Everyone stared in shock as Ryuto's status turned out to be completely blank. The priest hesitated before revealing the harsh truth: he was not a hero. Confused and desperate, Ryuto demanded answers, unable to understand why he alone had been excluded from their destiny. As the others whispered among themselves, suspicion and ridicule filled the air. They called Ryuto strange, blaming his reaction on bad blood. Memories of past humiliation resurfaced, being shunned, misunderstood, and branded as trouble. Realizing no one would ever believe him, Ryuto lowered his gaze, quietly accepting that he was once again the outcast. The priestess announced that all heroes would undergo a year of training to prepare for the Demon King's army. The group responded with excitement, eager to explore and adapt to their new world. While the others celebrated and made plans together, Ryuto stood apart, his thoughts distant, quietly wishing for something as simple as being able to use his smartphone again. Ryuto reflected on his situation, realizing that even in this new world, he didn't truly belong. As he stood lost in thought, the priestess approached him gently, apologizing for the pain and confusion he had endured. With a calm expression, she placed her hand on his arm and said she had a request, one that seemed to carry a deeper meaning. The priestess looked at Ryuto with sincerity, asking for his cooperation to aid the Empire. Though uncertain, he realized it was the first time someone had needed him. Deciding it was better than being cast aside, he agreed to help, quietly hoping that by doing so, he might finally find a purpose in this world. As the others prepared for the celebration, Ryuto chose to stay behind, feeling out of place among them. Kinomoto approached, her calm presence breaking the silence. He praised her impressive ability, acknowledging how strong she was compared to him. Though she listened quietly, her gaze lingered on him with a hint of unspoken concern before walking away. Kinomoto approached Ryuto, apologizing for not defending him earlier. Without hesitation, she handed him a small charm, explaining it was crafted with her own ability and could activate magic if broken. Ryuto accepted it with quiet gratitude, touched by the gesture. For a moment, he looked at her in awe, wondering if she might be an angel sent to ease his loneliness. As rain pattered softly outside, Kinomoto asked what Ryuto planned to do next. He admitted that, since his life had already been saved, it felt right to repay the favor. Though she expressed worry, sensing something ominous, he smiled faintly and said he wanted to see what he was capable of. With quiet resolve, he walked away, the creak of his footsteps fading into the distance. Back in the present, Ryuto was thrown from the carriage, landing hard on the cold ground. His death would serve as bait, a distraction to deceive the enemy into believing the true hero had fallen. As the reality sank in, Ryuto realized he had been discarded once again, his life deemed expendable. Ryuto clenched his fists, anger boiling as he realized he was being treated as nothing more than a disposable pawn. He mocked the idea of being called a hero, frustration twisting into bitter resolve. As the night rode away, leaving him alone in the dense forest, the words echoed coldly behind him. Farewell, fake hero. Alone in the forest, Ryuto reflected on his life, realizing he had always just wanted to be useful to someone. Whether in his old world or this one, no one truly needed him. Accepting that he would die there, he still refused to give up easily. With a faint, resigned smile, he decided he would struggle until the very end, even if it meant dying alone. A strange sound echoed in Ryuto's mind, growing louder until words began to form. Trial commences. Though uncertain of what awaited, he decided to bet everything he had on this mysterious trial, ready to face whatever came next. A new status appeared before Ryuto's eyes, showing that his Hanged Man ability had activated a mysterious trial upon entering demon territory. His stats were weak, yet certain skills awakened wisdom, intuition, and discernment. Realizing he was in danger but unnaturally calm, he concluded the skill was keeping his fear in check. Guided by instinct, he sensed something approaching, marking the beginning of his true struggle. From the shadows of the forest, a grotesque monster emerged, its twisted grin revealing sharp fangs as it crept closer. The air grew tense, and Ryuto's instincts screamed in warning. His heart pounded, but his newfound ability kept his mind steady. The trial had truly begun, and his first opponent was now before him. A system message appeared before Ryuto, declaring the start of his trial. Survive for 30 seconds against the approaching Gore Monk. Panic surged as he realized the monster's strength far surpassed his own, yet this was his only chance. If he endured, his power would grow. Taking a deep breath, he prepared to fight for his life, determined to overcome the impossible challenge. Ryuto dove behind a tree, narrowly avoiding the monster's claws as the countdown echoed in his mind. 15 seconds left. Fear gripped him, but his body moved on instinct, urging him to survive. Every breath felt heavy as he searched desperately for a way to fight back, realizing escape might be his only option. Cornered and out of options, Ryuto reached for the charm Kinomoto had given him. Apologizing silently, he shattered it, unleashing a burst of magic that erupted in blinding light. The monster roared in confusion as the energy engulfed it, giving Ryuto a precious chance to breathe. Though he'd broken his promise, that single moment of power might just save his life. The explosion from the pendant unleashed a surge of ice magic, freezing the monster solid. As 30 seconds passed, the system confirmed his survival, granting him newfound strength and sharper abilities. But before he could rest, the message changed. The next trial had begun. Now, to truly survive, Ryuto had to defeat the frozen beast before him. The frozen monster shattered under Ryuto's final strike, its roar fading into silence. A system message confirmed his victory. The Gore Monk was defeated, and his strength had increased. Though power now flowed through him, an uneasy feeling lingered. Looking around the desolate forest, he muttered to himself and decided to search for food, unsure what awaited him next. In this hostile world, days passed as Ryuto struggled to survive in the harsh wilderness. He fled from monsters, scavenged for food, and fought off smaller creatures just to stay alive. Exhausted and worn down, he found brief moments of rest beside the fallen beasts. Despite his exhaustion, he continued forward, determined not to collapse, clinging to the faint will that kept him moving. Weak and starving, Ryuto collapsed to the ground, his body trembling from exhaustion. System errors echoed faintly in his mind, but he could barely comprehend them. As darkness closed in, he questioned why he was still alive despite the pain and emptiness. Staring at the moon above, he wondered what his struggle even meant, and how much longer he could endure it. Memories from Ryuto's past surfaced childhood dreams of becoming a hero who could change the world. But reality had been cruel. After a painful incident, prejudice and isolation consumed his life, driving him to run aimlessly through the night, desperate to escape it all. No matter how far he went, he never truly got anywhere. Just like now, he felt powerless, unable to achieve anything. A faint rustling broke the silence, and Ryuto spotted a human silhouette moving between the trees. Startled, he struggled to his feet, his body still weak. Questions raced through his mind. Who were they, and what were they running from? Realizing he couldn't afford to hesitate, he pushed himself to move, forcing his trembling legs to follow the shadow ahead. In the clearing ahead, a young girl stood, cornered by a towering monster. Her voice trembled as she warned the creature to stay back, calling it a mere gore monk beneath her power. Yet despite her defiance, her magic failed to respond, leaving her helpless. Desperation filled her eyes as she cried out for anyone to save her. Ryuto's instincts screamed for him to stay back, warning that moving any closer meant certain death. But as he watched the terrified girl cornered by the monster, something inside him snapped. He silenced the voice of fear and ran forward, determined to act. Even if he had been useless and abandoned by everyone, this time he refused to stand by and do nothing. With determination burning in his eyes, Ryuto charged forward, shouting that he wanted to be useful to someone, even if it cost him his life. In that moment, his resolve aligned with the essence of his title, the Hanged Man. Power surged within him as he faced the monster head-on, shocking the girl who watched in disbelief. Fueled by sheer determination, Ryuto lunged at the monster with everything he had. A fierce glare in his eyes, he declared his intent to take it down with him. His punch landed with explosive force, a desperate strike from someone who had nothing left to lose but still refused to back down. Ryuto's body lay motionless after the battle, his vision fading as he fell from the cliff. Accepting his fate, he thought of how his life, though meaningless, had at least saved someone in the end. As darkness closed in, faint voices called out to him, urging him to wake up, but his mind drifted further away, believing that a failure like him was finally where he belonged. As Ryuto drifted between life and death, a familiar voice broke through the haze. The girl he had saved, Rurunoa, was beside him, refusing to let him die. She fed him something, infused with her magic, urging him to eat. Weakly obeying, he tasted it, and felt warmth spreading through his body. Still dazed, he wondered if he was dreaming, as life slowly returned to him under her worried gaze. Rurunoa scolded Ryuto for recklessly collapsing after saving her, revealing he'd been unconscious for an entire day. Declaring herself the Demon King's daughter, she demanded he show respect and obey her orders until he recovered. Flustered, Ryuto complied, awkwardly repeating her words, which made her beam with satisfaction, leaving him both confused and embarrassed by how cute she suddenly looked. Ryuto was stunned to realize the girl feeding him was the Demon King's daughter, Rurunoa. As he tried to make sense of the situation, a system notification appeared. His strength was being measured due to her magical power. The voice of the sun echoed in his mind, analyzing him and mocking his earlier resolve. Frustrated and embarrassed, Ryuto yelled at the unseen voice to shut up, leaving Rurunoa confused by his sudden outburst. Rurunoa proudly introduced herself as the one and only daughter of the great Demon King, puffing her chest with a smug grin as she demanded Ryuto to praise her. Embarrassed, he awkwardly complied while trying to process what she was even doing there. She then explained how, during her birthday, she accidentally activated a cursed sealing spell hidden among her gifts, one that blocked her magic and teleported her to this place. Ryuto was shocked, realizing she had nearly gotten herself killed because of it. Ryuto nervously introduced himself, trying to keep some distance as Rurunoa leaned in too close with her usual smugness. She teased him for being attacked so easily, calling the situation a walk in the garden for someone like her. When Ryuto admitted he was a human summoned from another world, a supposed hero, he quickly added that he was just a fake one. Rurunoa listened, amused, noting that heroes were meant to be her enemies, but grinned playfully, saying, "Gotcha, Ryuto," as if already deciding otherwise. Rurunoa's eyes sparkled as she listened. Amazed that Ryuto came from another world, she admired him openly, calling humans strong and brave, fumbling slightly as she added that he was cool too. Ryuto gave a faint smile but quickly dismissed her praise, saying he wasn't worthy of it. He explained that while his classmates were summoned as heroes, he was the only one without powers left behind and abandoned. The warmth in his tone faded as he admitted he no longer had a place to return to. Ryuto confessed that even after being brought to this new world, nothing had changed. He'd always been searching for a purpose, for something he could do, for a place he truly belonged. But no matter where he went, he never found it. He admitted that he wasn't a hero or a main character, just a fool clinging to existence. Looking down, he said he only saved Rurunoa out of his own selfish need to feel useful. Hearing this, Rurunoa's confident expression softened, her voice barely a whisper as she asked, "Is that so?" Rurunoa looked at him with firm eyes, saying it didn't matter if his actions had an ulterior motive. What mattered was that he saved her life. She reminded him that, as the Demon King's daughter, she'd been targeted countless times. Yet he risked everything for her, without even knowing who she was. Her voice grew passionate as she clenched her fist, declaring that she was truly happy because of what he did. Facing her sincerity, Ryuto could only stand silently, her words echoing in his chest. Ryuto stood there, still burdened by the thought that he had no reason to live, no place where he truly belonged. But Rurunoa, filled with determination, reached out to him. Her presence radiated warmth and certainty, as if trying to fill the void in his heart. With unwavering resolve, she promised to give him the purpose he had been searching for. To her, his very existence had meaning. He had come into this world to save her. In that moment, under the glowing light around them, Ryuto's once empty eyes reflected a faint spark of hope. Rurunoa's eyes shone with confidence as she extended her hand toward Ryuto. With a commanding yet sincere tone, she offered him a place by her side, a new purpose to live for. She wanted him to serve in the Demon King's castle and dedicate his life to protecting her. Her words carried both authority and warmth, leaving Ryuto speechless. As he looked into her determined gaze, something inside him began to change. The despair that once consumed him was slowly replaced by a sense of belonging he had never felt before. Ryuto couldn't understand how Rurunoa could be so sure of herself, making bold decisions without hesitation. Yet, beneath his confusion, there was warmth in his chest, a feeling he hadn't experienced before. For the first time in his life, someone truly needed him. That realization, coming from such a strong and willful demon princess, filled him with quiet happiness and a faint sense of pride he didn't know he was capable of feeling. Ryuto realizes that if he accepts her hand, there's no turning back from this new path. With a small, genuine smile, Ryuto reaches out, ready to follow her lead and embrace this new purpose she's given him. The next day, Rurunoa confidently marches ahead, singing about being the future Demon King. Ryuto follows beside her, a bit unsure if they're even heading the right way. But Rurunoa is totally certain, promising that the Demon King's castle isn't far now. Meanwhile, their antics keep surprising everyone they meet. As they continue their journey, Ryuto steps in front of Rurunoa and smashes a huge snake, threatening them. Rurunoa isn't surprised, she's proud, thinking this is exactly what she expected from her chosen butler. For her, Ryuto's actions are proof that she made the right choice. On his second day escorting Rurunoa, Ryuto finally gets how his own ability works. Every time he encounters a monster that's stronger than him or something new, a trial starts. If there's a big difference in power, it turns into a survival trial. Just staying alive is the goal. If the power gap is smaller, it becomes a subjugation trial, where he actually has to fight and win. Completing trials helps him level up his strength, endurance, and agility. Even though he's still figuring things out, Ryuto notices that each trial is making him stronger and more capable. Ryuto has gotten stronger, now at level 82, thanks to the magic power from Rurunoa. His stats have improved. His power is now C, endurance is D, agility is B, and although his magic power is still 0, his physical abilities got a boost because of the power from the Sunday. Even so, he's still unsure about the reverse skill and how it works. Last time it tried to activate, he didn't have enough strength or magic power for it. Now, there's talk that his current level might be enough to use it, but Ryuto is still lost about what reverse actually means. Meanwhile, Rurunoa teases him about a pendant from his homeland, and the conversation turns a bit playful as she jokes about his reactions. Ryuto is suddenly asked if he remembers how he defeated the Gore Monk for the first time. He gets quiet, trying to recall what actually happened, but his mind draws a blank. He wonders if he's just too tired or if something else is making it hard to remember. As Rurunoa calls out for him to look at something, Ryuto is left puzzled, thinking over the events, unable to shake the feeling that something important is missing from his memory. Rurunoa quickly grabs Ryuto, urging him to move as she spots a signal in the sky, purple and black smoke, a sign from their knights. She's confident that if they head toward the smoke, they'll run into Zera, an ally. With the knights nearby and the signal glowing in the sky, Rurunoa's face lights up at the thought of seeing a friend, and they both make a run for it, hoping to regroup with their allies soon. Ryuto dashes forward with Rurunoa, clinging to his back, speeding through the forest while she's amazed by his pace. He asks her to hold on tight, thinking to himself that meeting the knights might not go smoothly, they could even want him dead. Still, with Rurunoa's upbeat attitude and trust, his doubts start to fade. She reassures him, promising to introduce him to everyone at the Demon King's castle, including her father and other allies. Ryuto, feeling her faith and acceptance, starts to believe he's finally found a place where he belongs. Ryuto suddenly leaps high into the air with Rurunoa still holding onto him. She's caught off guard by the jump, eyes wide in shock as they soar over the obstacle ahead. As Ryuto and Rurunoa move through the forest, a blood wolf suddenly appears, looking dangerous and ready to attack. There's no time to escape. The threat is real and immediate. At that moment, the system confirms a hostile encounter, triggering another Hanged Man trial. The trial kicks in. Ryuto now has to defeat the death-mound Great Wolf. This new challenge is tied to the reverse skill, and the reward will change depending on how well he uses it. The only way to activate reverse is by reaching a high enough level, having enough magic power, and showing strong emotion. While Rurunoa hides, Ryuto is pushed to his limit, needing to tap into something deep to survive. Ryuto tries to react and dodge the wolf, but it's way too fast. His instincts just aren't enough. He gets hit hard, struggling to protect Rurunoa. Even as he's pinned down, he's only thinking about her safety, telling her to run. Seeing Ryuto in danger, Rurunoa calls out to him, desperate and worried. Rurunoa steps up to protect Ryuto, standing between him and the wolf, ready to fight. As she faces the threat, something shifts inside Ryuto. The mysterious power inside him starts to react, tied to a deep urge to protect her, no matter what. Even if he doesn't fully get what's happening, his determination to keep her safe is what sets everything in motion. Ryuto finally snaps, yelling out with everything he's got. As his emotions boil over, a new power linked to greed kicks in. The system checks his level and magic, and everything lines up. His power is fully unlocked and ready to go. Ryuto's reverse of Hanged Man activates. This power comes from the reverse tarot card, drawing out the hidden strength of Arcana. In this form, the meaning shifts. He becomes a plunderer, someone who takes all wealth, skills, and strength for himself. It's the ability of someone who's lost to their own desires, now ready to take whatever he needs to survive. Ryuto's transformation is complete. Wearing the mask of greedy Black Death, Mavalitia, his whole appearance changes. Now, masked and draped in a dark outfit, he stands with a new, menacing aura and a clawed, chain-bound hand, ready to unleash his full power. The Death Mound. Great Wolf lunges at Ryuto, but now he stands his ground, totally different from before. Chains shoot out from his hand, grabbing the monster and pinning it down. With his new powers awakened, Ryuto easily overpowers the beast, showing total control and calling the fight a simple task. Ryuto's new power is recognized as the reverse of greed, and his next trial starts. He has to completely overpower the Death-Mound Great Wolf. If he succeeds, his strength will grow again, and the wolf will be bound to him forever. Even Ryuto is kind of confused about what's happening to him now, but the people around him realize he's definitely changed his power, and appearance are nothing like before. Now, Ryuto stands in front of the giant wolf, completely changed. His new status shows crazy upgrades and a bunch of strange abilities he can use, magic that controls chains, absorb power from enemies, and even force slavery. But these new skills only last for 5 minutes while he's in reverse mode. Rurunoa is watching, thinking just how odd and intense Ryuto has become, while Ryuto himself is just focused on completing the trial and making the wolf powerless before the timer runs out. Ryuto notices a strange magic curse affecting the giant wolf, causing it pain. Deciding to help, he activates his goblin skill. The curse, which was called Berserk, gets absorbed and turned into raw physical power for Ryuto. Now, the wolf's suffering starts to ease up, and Ryuto grows even stronger. Ryuto faces a deadly trial and awakens the power of reverse, transforming into a masked figure with the ability to dominate and control his enemies. Using his new skills, he subdues the Death-Mound Great Wolf, absorbs its curse, and gains dominion over it, making the wolf his companion. Even though the process leaves him exhausted, he finishes the trial stronger, and with a new ally at his side. Ryuto is praised for his efforts, and is told that he's become indispensable. Ryuto wakes up in an unfamiliar, luxurious room, confused about where he is. Someone tells him he's finally awake, signaling he's safe but still uncertain about his situation. Ryuto learns he's been out for 2 weeks, recovering from his wound. The head maid, Fina, introduces herself and asks him to change clothes, making it clear he's now at the Demon King's castle. Ryuto gets summoned to meet the Demon King, who is Rurunoa's father and the enemy of the world. He feels nervous but enters the room after being told to come in, unsure if he'll be safe. Ryuto finally meets the Demon King, who introduces himself in a laid-back and friendly way. Ryuto is surprised, finding him completely different from what he expected. The Demon King asks Ryuto to relax and sit down, saying he's heard a lot about him from Rurunoa. The Demon King thanks Ryuto for saving his daughter and promises a proper reward. He wants to discuss Ryuto's abilities but can't see anything when checking Ryuto's status. Ryuto mentions that his powers aren't visible to others, And the Demon King brings up rumors about Ryuto being powerless in the Lux Empire. Ryuto explains that his ability is called the Hanged Man, an arcana. The Demon King realizes Ryuto's status isn't invisible by nature, but was purposely hidden. Ryuto mentions an old man with a staff was the first to see his status, confirming the Demon King's suspicion. Ryuto asks about the arcana. The Demon King explains that only the old man known as the Hermit could have hidden his status, using a high-level concealment skill. Arcana are rare and powerful abilities. Only 21 people possess them, and even in the Demon Kingdom, there are few arcana holders. Their true nature is still mysterious. The Hermit specializes in hiding things' form, status, and even memories. The Demon King thinks Ryuto's arcana was hidden to keep the Empire from using it. Since the demon race controls monsters, they're seen as the enemy of the world. The old man who hid Ryuto's arcana isn't from the Empire, and his background is unknown. The human race manipulates things so that heroes from another world believe demons are evil, but in reality, other races get along with demons, and monsters are just unrelated. The heroes are kept in the castle and trained to fight demons, but the monsters aren't actually controlled by the demon race. The Lux Empire targets the Demon Kingdom for its land and magical resources, taking advantage just because they're neighbors. The Demon King openly says the Empire can go to hell, and wants Ryuto to make his own choice, not just follow what Rurunoa wants. Ryuto can return to the Empire if he proves himself, but now it's his decision. The Demon King laughs and approves of Ryuto's bold words. He admits Rurunoa was begging him every day, so he's okay with Ryuto working in the castle. Ryuto's a bit unsure if everyone else will agree, but the king wishes him luck and sends him off, while joking that he might have spoiled his daughter too much. Ryuto enters a crowded arena with Rurunoa and the others. He looks around, surprised by how many people are there, and wonders if this place is meant for battles or events. Rurunoa calls out to Ryuto as she runs up to him, excited that he's okay. She checks if he's feeling well, and her sisters tease them for being so close, wanting to join in too. Ryuto assures everyone that he's fine now. Ryuto is introduced to Nell Ermal, a magician and Rurunoa's cousin, and also to Zera, the night captain. Nell greets Ryuto, but Zera immediately gives him a sharp glare. Zera confronts Ryuto, clearly upset about a human becoming a butler in the castle. Zera refuses to accept him, even with Rurunoa's support. Rurunoa tries to calm things down, reminding Zera that Ryuto saved her and deserves respect. Ryuto thinks to himself that it won't be easy to be accepted here. Rurunoa decides that Ryuto has to prove himself in front of everyone. She sets up a trial in the arena where Ryuto must show if he's worthy to be her butler. A challenger stands ready, and Ryuto is about to face a test in front of the whole crowd. Rurunoa tells Ryuto he needs to prove himself as her butler in front of everyone. The arena fills with people, and Ryuto faces a challenger, ready to show what he's capable of. Ryuto steps into the fight without a weapon, saying it's just habit. His opponent warns him not to take things lightly, then charges with a huge axe as the match begins. The match starts with a heavy slam, the armored opponent smashing the ground with his weapon. The crowd is surprised, thinking the move is just for intimidation. Some think it's too much for a friendly match, while others feel it's unfair to leave things to Ryuto alone. Ryuto stands unfazed, not even trying to dodge the attack. The opponent mocks him, thinking Ryuto was frozen with fear, but Ryuto just shrugs it off and asks if there was any need to avoid it. Annoyed, the armored opponent charges in again, swinging his weapon with even more force. The opponent swings down with his axe, but Ryuto easily dodges and counters with a quick, powerful strike, catching everyone off guard. The armored guy is left stunned by Ryuto's unexpected speed and strength. Ryuto's opponent is knocked out and left on the ground. Ryuto stands calm, while the crowd is left speechless, clearly surprised by how easily he won. Ryuto is declared the winner. Zera and the others are shocked at his strength, even though his fighting style looked clumsy. Ryuto is relieved he powered up before the match. The crowd cheers for him. The crowd is happy, and Rurunoa announces a welcome party for Ryuto. Ryuto kneels and pledges to serve Rurunoa faithfully from now on. Ryuto feels like this is his true beginning in this world. Rurunoa tells him to do his best, and Ryuto pledges his loyalty to her, feeling truly alive here. At the Lux Empire, Iris breaks down in tears, telling everyone that she just got news of Ryuto's death. She blames herself, but the others try to comfort her, saying it's not her fault. Some blame Ryuto for leaving the castle without any abilities, while others just want Iris to stop crying. Some students talk about Ryuto, calling him reckless and ungrateful for leaving. One girl, Kino, is visibly upset and thinks to herself that it's all a lie and blames herself for not stopping him. Others are cold, saying there's no need to pity Ryuto or his family, calling them crazy. and even saying they're glad he's dead. Kino remembers harsh words saying that the son of a murderer is better off dead. She looks sad, thinking about Sakaki. Meanwhile, someone in a hooded cloak walks alone in a large, empty hall. A cloaked figure realizes the Deathmound Great Wolf was released and thinks the devil's curse failed too. The owl is watching from above. Someone contacts the old man, Hermit, telepathically, telling him to stop interfering with the hanged man. The old man wonders how many decades it's been since they last spoke, and says he'll get to the point. The old man gets questioned about why he's so interested in one human. He says he has no use for him anymore and doesn't care if his memories were messed with, but warns not to interfere again. The other person thinks about how easy it would be to send Ryuto down a dark path, but finds it boring. They mockingly ask if the old man would go as far as to move his country just for this. Someone predicts the continent is heading for a golden age in 1 year. Dragons, phantasmal, and divine beasts will become active, and there will be new discoveries. Heroes from other worlds, as well as princes and princesses of all races, will gather at the Imperial Capital Academy. Everything is set to come together, as if by design. The 12th arcana, long missing, is known as the Wild Card. It's the only one that can grow and can turn everything upside down. Now that it's back, a chaotic era is about to begin. A girl with animal-like ears picks up a scent near the forest and heads toward the Demon King's castle, curious about what she smells. The girl with wolf ears hides in the bushes, her tail wagging. She spots who she's been looking for and quietly says, "Finally found you, master." Inside the castle, Ryuto is sleeping peacefully. The wolf girl sneaks into his bed and curls up right next to him, getting comfortable while he's still asleep. Ryuto wakes up, shocked to find the wolf girl in his bed. She calmly calls him master and says her name is Shu, mentioning that she's here now but smaller than before. Ryuto, still confused, tries to figure out who she is. Ryuto has no idea how Shu turned into a small beastkin. The Demon King wonders if she's a pup, noticing Shu is very attached to Ryuto. Shu says Ryuto saved her from pain in the forest, and that he told her to come if she got smaller, so she did. Everyone realizes Shu is actually the giant wolf from before. Ryuto is shocked, but Shu confirms it's true. Fina is surprised, saying it's impossible. The Demon King explains her true name is Deathmound, Great Wolf, the same one Ryuto defeated to protect Ruru, but he never expected her to turn human. Fina explains that Ryuto's arcana is unique, so there's no mistake. She also shares that long ago, there was a werewolf race that could change forms using monster blood and had great power, but humans saw them as a threat, borrowed the elves' power, and wiped them out. One werewolf survived the massacre. It destroyed a nation overnight, devoured half the elves' forest, and lived only for destruction and revenge, gaining the name the Deathmound Great Wolf. After the wolf took its revenge, it disappeared. Shu doesn't remember much, just darkness, pain, and a need to destroy everything that moved, until Ryuto showed up and calmed her. She apologizes for attacking him, still confused by what happened. Shuvate explains that her family and friends were all killed, leaving her alone. She doesn't have anywhere to go since people are afraid of her, but she feels safe with Ryuto since he's not scared of her and is much stronger. Shu begs Ryuto not to leave her alone. She wants to stay by his side, play together, sleep together, and greet each other in the morning. Shu just doesn't want to be alone anymore, and Ryuto hugs her tightly. Alto tells Ryuto and Shu they're already like family to him and not to be shy. Ryuto says it's okay for Shu to stay with him and promises they'll be together from now on. Shu, happy and emotional, asks to stay together forever, calling Ryuto master. Shu shows up looking a lot cleaner and in new clothes, with a bell attached in case she gets lost. Fina explains she also put a muzzle on Shu because Shu requested it, thinking it would make her seem less scary. Shu even asks Ryuto to exercise dominion over her, showing she's trying to fit in. Ryuto feels a bit weird about the term dominion, but Shu is happy to go along with it, saying she wants to be connected to her master. The process is completed, and Shu keeps calling him master, because in her words, master is master. Ryuto thinks something feels off, but tries to brush it off as just his imagination. Ryuto is asked to step up and serve at the three demonic princesses' tea party. Rurunoa suddenly declares that this is a really serious and grave situation, putting a lot of pressure on him as the new server. The scene shifts to a tea party with the three demonic princesses, Zera, the Princess of Black Night, and Nell Ermal, the Princess of Golden Curse, along with Rurunoa. These three are the closest to the Demon King, chosen for their abilities. Ryuto is a bit nervous, serving them, realizing that up close, they just look like normal girls, even though they hold important roles. Rurunoa is teased for her serious face, but everyone tries to keep the mood light. Ryuto tries to stay calm while serving the pastries called financiers to the princesses. Zera is clearly bothered by having a human around and makes her dislike obvious. but Ryuto thinks she must have her reasons, even if her attitude is hard to handle. Despite the tension, everyone tastes the treat. Rurunoa finds it delicious, Nell is pleasantly surprised, and even Zara can't hide her interest. The princesses are amazed by the snacks. They all start praising the taste, soft and crispy, and super delicious. Ryuto reveals that he made them himself, which surprises everyone. Nell asks for more, calling them incredible, and even Rurunoa says she likes them, but quickly says she means the snacks, not Ryuto. Zara acts annoyed but finishes hers and declares, "I won," before saying Ryuto shouldn't get too full of himself. The group finds out there's a big problem. The castle is running out of sunshine grass, which they need to make sugar for snacks. Normally they buy it from a nearby town, but this season, the crop failed. There's a rumor the sun isn't rising in the village anymore, which is messing up the sunshine grass. Rurunoa says she has a plan. Nell finds the whole sun not rising thing strange, and everyone's a bit panicked at the thought of losing their sweets. Rurunoa calls out to Zara and Ryuto, then tells them they'll be working together to investigate the sunshine grass problem. Both agree, and their new mission as a team is set. Ryuto and Zara both react in shock to being paired up, with Zara slamming the table. Rurunoa tells them to get along, while the others comment that this was a perfect move from her. Zara wants to be praised, but Ryuto's still a bit thrown off by the sudden team-up. Zara tries to object, pointing out that Ryuto is a human, but Rurunoa shuts her down and tells them they must investigate together. Both Zara and Ryuto, with no other choice, give in and agree to follow her command, though Zara is clearly frustrated. Ryuto and Zara are sitting together in silence, both feeling awkward. Ryuto wonders if he should try starting a conversation, but thinks Zara clearly hates him. He feels the pressure to get along since they were ordered to, but the mood is just super tense. Ryuto and Zara arrive at the base of a massive tower that stretches so high its top is lost in the clouds. Zara can't help but sigh when she realizes Ryuto doesn't even know what this tower is. She explains, "This is the Sage Tower, also known as Babel, the language unification tower. The structure has stood in the center of the world since ancient times, holding the power to unify all languages." As Ryuto listens, he starts to understand just how important the tower is for everyone's communication. After hearing the explanation about Babel, Ryuto finally understands why he's able to speak and read the local language, even though he's from another world. While thinking about this, he notices a detail that bothers him. Why does the language here also resemble Japanese? Meanwhile, Zara isn't impressed by Ryuto's overly polite way of speaking. She finds his attempts at flattery annoying and sees right through his efforts to get on her good side. In her eyes, Ryuto still seems suspicious, no matter how friendly he tries to act. Ryuto and Zara are on their way to a human village to gather information. Zara is direct and not shy about showing her dislike for humans, so Ryuto takes the lead on dealing with people. He's also thinking about Zara's race, since she doesn't match typical demon traits and is likely from a rare lineage. Ryuto tries to ask Zara about her race, but she shuts him down, saying it's none of his business. He realizes she just doesn't like talking about it, so he decides to drop the subject. The two girls talk about Ryuto and Zara, hoping they'll get along. They know it won't happen right away, especially with Zara's past with humans, but they're optimistic things will improve. They notice that Ryuto and Zara are actually pretty similar to each other. The girls joke about Ryuto possibly being taken away by Zara. One of them, pretending to be confident, insists it'll be fine because Ryuto likes her. The other girl, with a playful and slightly devilish attitude, teases about using a curse if necessary. Ryuto and Zara approach the village, checking for anything unusual. There's some doubt about whether the rumors are true since the sunshine grass production was clearly affected, yet the sun hasn't disappeared. They decide to keep their guard up as they enter the village. As Ryuto and Zara approach the village, a sudden barrier activates around them, starting some kind of trial. Neither of them has seen a barrier like this before, and they both realize something unusual is happening as soon as they get close. They check on each other, preparing for what comes next. A huge monster appears, confirming the start of the trial. Zara immediately gets ready to fight, knowing this is a test they'll have to overcome. A giant monster shows up, signaling the start of the Hanged Man trial. Zara steps forward, ready for battle. After the fight, Zara tells Ryuto to go ahead alone. As he walks deeper into the forest, he spots something unusual lying on the ground and pauses, confused. Ryuto arrives at Evernight Village, where the locals confirm that the sun hasn't risen, making daily life difficult. He's told to visit the inn for more info and realizes the sun problem is real. Ryuto meets up with Zara, who pushes him to focus. They head to the inn, believing the old lady there has answers about the sun's disappearance. Ryuto and Zara talk to the old lady at the inn. She tells them she saw a dragon howling at the moon after the village was covered in darkness. Nobody believes her, but Ryuto thinks she's telling the truth, even though dragons are considered mythical. After hearing the story about the dragon, Zara seems tired and distracted. Ryuto suggests they continue the investigation the next day. As they head to their rooms, he notices Zara is acting more honest than usual and wonders what changed. Ryuto heads to his room, feeling like he and Zara were starting to get along. Still, he admits to himself that he's never really had friends or knew how to get along with girls, not even in his previous world. Lying in bed, Ryuto regrets thinking about bad memories before sleeping. Restless, he gets up and quietly leaves his room, heading out into the hallway. Ryuto wakes up suddenly, haunted by the word murderer echoing in his mind. Frustrated and restless, he sits up, sighs, and decides he should go check on Zara. Ryuto learns that Zara went out alone toward the mountains, looking unsteady. He quickly heads out after her, worried something might happen, and knowing Rurunoa would be upset if Zara got hurt. Ryuto walks through the woods, a bit tense from the wind. Suddenly, he stumbles upon a monster's severed head on the ground, leaving him shocked and on high alert. Ryuto walks through the forest, a little on edge from the sounds around him. He brushes it off as just the wind, but then he's startled to find a huge monster's severed head right in front of him. Ryuto spots a strange creature and immediately dashes through the woods, worried about Zara's safety and hoping nothing bad has happened to her. Ryuto hears the sound of water while searching the forest. He realizes there's a river nearby and quickly heads in that direction, hoping it'll lead him to Zara. Ryuto spots Zara near the river. She looks tense, ready for anything, and Ryuto is relieved to have found her. Ryuto, embarrassed, tries to apologize and leave after finding Zara in the river. Suddenly, something sharp and fast slices through the air, catching him off guard. Ryuto tries to apologize after finding Zara in the river, but before he can leave, something slices through the air, catching him by surprise. Ryuto is confronted by Zara, who shows her fangs and golden eyes. The truth is revealed. Zara is a vampire, a race awakened by the blood of a true ancestor, marked by their hatred of humanity and cursed to be alone. With her secret exposed, Zara declares that Ryuto must die. Under the full moon, the girl stands alone. Scars on her back, memories of loss and betrayal by humans haunt her. She's consumed by hatred towards her own instincts, the humans who hurt her, and above all, herself. A student reads about vampires, beings that mutated from humans, gaining fangs, golden eyes, and wings. Long ago, a powerful demon called the True Ancestor overcame sunlight and preyed on all creatures with blood. Eventually, vampires vanished, leaving only traces of their existence among humans. After their secret is discovered, the vampire prepares to kill the one who knows the truth, fearing exposure would make it impossible to stay in the demon kingdom. The other person pleads for trust, promising not to reveal anything, but doubt and desperation fill the tense moment. Blaming humans for her pain, the vampire remembers a happier time, a childhood birthday celebration with her family, before everything was lost. She enjoyed a simple, happy life with her parents, feeling completely content. Surrounded by love, she would spend her days playing outside, never wanting anything more. While out playing, Zara shows off a flower crown made by her parents. A neighbor compliments her, saying she'll grow up to be as beautiful as her mother. But suddenly, Zara senses that something feels off. As Zara approaches, wings suddenly appear on her back. The neighbor recoils in fear, calling her a monster, leaving Zara shocked and hurt by the reaction. After her transformation is seen, the townspeople panic, calling Zara the one with unclean blood. Her world changes in an instant, and she runs to her mother, hurt by being called a monster by those around her. Zara's mother reassures her, promising she'll always be loved, no matter what. Zara worries if she's a bad child, but her parents comfort her, insisting she's done nothing wrong and is still their precious daughter. Outside, someone shouts, searching for her. The villagers demand Zara be handed over, accusing her of being a vampire with the blood of a traitor. Her parents, scared but loving, tell Zara she's still a good child and ask her to hide while they try to calm the angry crowd. Before leaving, Zara's mother gives her a loving embrace and softly tells her they love her. Zara listens, holding on to those words as everything around her starts to fall apart. Zara finds her home in flames and sees her parents on the ground, lost to the fire. Stunned and heartbroken, she's quickly discovered by the villagers who are still after her. The villagers capture Zara, calling her a monster and debating how to punish her. She's surrounded, terrified, and desperately cries out as she's pulled away, her flower crown falling into the chaos. Left alone and broken, Zara questions if it's truly wrong for her to exist. She wonders why everything changed just because she awakened the blood of the true ancestor, and what her parents did to deserve such a fate. At school, whispers and rumors surround the child. Others avoid him, blaming his parents and fearing what he might do. Isolated and judged, He's left wondering if he even deserves to live. No matter where he goes, people judge him for his parents. He grows frustrated with how humans obsess over bloodlines and ancestry, feeling trapped and angry by their constant scrutiny. He wishes to be seen for who he truly is, not judged by his origins. Sitting together, they realize they share the same struggle, feeling a quiet sense of understanding between them. One of them stands up, feeling the need to speak the truth, but suddenly, something unexpected happens, leaving them shocked and off balance. One grabs the other, telling them to snap out of it and calling them an idiot. Frustration boils over as they argue about being seen for who they are, with emotions running high between the two. Standing firm, he tells Zara that he's always seen her for who she really is. Just Zara, nothing else. He argues that being a vampire doesn't make Zara any less of a person, while pointing out that humans have their own dark sides, often hurting each other for personal gain. Zara struggles with her nature, believing she can't survive without harming others, and feels the weight of how feared vampires are. He reveals that his parents killed their own relatives for money, and even though he had nothing to do with it, everyone still saw him as the son of murderers. Bullies targeted him, and people were afraid of him, despite his innocence. He insists that he is not defined by his parents' actions. He's just himself. Looking at Zara, he tells her that it doesn't matter if she's a vampire or something else. She's still Zara, and that's what truly matters. Zara remembers her family and the warmth she once had. Sitting together, they talk about a time in the forest when someone called her a friend and smiled genuinely, showing that she's not alone. Zara worries about being a burden to those who care about her, wondering if she really deserves to live. She's reminded that many people, both in the demon castle and outside, treasure her and would be saddened if she were gone. Uncertain, she quietly asks if others are truly not afraid of her. Under the moonlight, Zara asks if she's hated, even after trying to kill him. He reassures her, saying he never believed she truly meant harm, and finds her endearing, recalling how she enjoyed his snacks like any normal girl. Embarrassed, Zara calls him an idiot, but her mood is lighter. Zara is filled with hatred for humans, for her instincts, but what she hates most is the part of herself that still wants to live, even after everything she's endured. At night, he uses a fire magic stone to heat something on the table. The magic stone activates, causing a small poof and breaking the cup, leaving him a bit surprised by the result. Ryuto checks his status. He's level 116, with enhanced abilities thanks to magic power from the Sunday. As he prepares hot milk, he thinks about the magic he received from Rurunoa and wonders if it's okay to visit a girl's room at night. Suddenly, there's a knock at the door. Late at night, Ryuto finds Zara still awake, hugging her pillow. He invites her to have some hot milk he just made. She quietly accepts, grateful for the small gesture. They sit together on the bed, drinking hot milk. Zara notices his unease and asks what's wrong, leading to a bit of awkward but lighthearted banter between them. Zara quietly apologizes for what happened earlier. Ryuto reassures her, telling her not to worry. The atmosphere softens, and Ryuto notes to himself that Zara is finally opening up a little, even as she shyly asks how long he'll keep staring at her. Ryuto tells Zara there's no need to be so formal and asks her to call him by his name. After some hesitation, Zara shyly calls him Ryu, making him a bit flustered, but he agrees, appreciating the new closeness between them. Under the moonlit sky, Ryuto and Zara head out to investigate the dragon. As they approach the rocky area, they both notice the air feels unusually heavy, confirming that the rumors about the dragon might be true. Dragons are rare, with 3 legendary types: Celestial, Terra, and Sovereign dragons. The Celestial dragon, known for its vast knowledge and ancient existence, is said to be the only one able to create night. Ryuto and Zara encounter this dragon, leading to a tense and unusual exchange, hinting at a complicated history between Ryuto and the dragon. As Ryuto and Zara investigate, the Celestial dragon appears, and it's clear Ryuto has crossed paths with it before, leading to a direct and awkward conversation. The Celestial dragon, nicknamed Urdia, is so powerful that the whole sky is considered its domain. Ryuto is warned not to even try fighting it. As they discuss, a loud roar shakes the area. Urdia is close, and Ryuto stays cautious, preparing to negotiate since the dragon can understand their language. Ryuto and Zara come face to face with the massive Celestial dragon. Suddenly, the dragon unleashes a powerful attack, forcing both of them to quickly dodge out of the way. The Celestial dragon launches a fierce attack, causing a massive explosion. Ryuto and Zara narrowly avoid the blast, quickly leaping out of harm's way as the dragon prepares to strike again. Ryuto tries to explain they're not there to fight, but the Celestial dragon cuts him off, refusing to trust them. The dragon sees them as foolish adventurers and remains hostile. A new trial is triggered for Ryuto. He must find a way to calm the celestial dragon if he wants to avoid a battle. The celestial dragon grows even more furious, making the situation critical. Ryuto worries about the time limit and whether he should use his special ability, Reverse, while Zera steps forward, ready to face whatever comes next. Ryuto asks Zera to buy him 10 minutes, as he prepares for something risky. The dragon mocks their efforts, but Ryuto knows he has no choice. If he does nothing, he'll die. But if he fails, he'll die too. He's determined to act, no matter the danger. Ryuto decides to risk everything on his own power, asking for just 10 minutes. He weighs his options, knowing his skill, greed is useless against the strong celestial dragon, and must rely on his intuition, remembering what he learned in the forest. Ryuto activates his reverse skill, feeling a powerful hunger inside. As the signs for gluttony are confirmed and all conditions are cleared, a dark presence awakens within him, ready to consume all sacrifices and devour everything in its path. Ryuto reveals the wings of gluttonous locust, Eviu Gra, a new power. He looks at Zera and, trusting her completely, tells her he's entrusting his life to her. Zera tells Ryuto not to die on her, and Ryuto promises the same back. Then his status screen pops up, showing his new powers under Zabulgra. He now has SS agility, flight magic, and some dangerous provocation skills, including Yahweh to pull aggro, Cerberus for magic projectiles, Gluttony Rock for flight, and Beelzebub, which devours everything. His reverse mode has a 15-minute timer. He knows these new abilities are risky, but feels he has no choice but to go for it. Ryuto uses the Yahweh skill to make the celestial dragon target him and activates Gluttony Rock to take flight with his new insect wings. The dragon realizes Ryuto is using arcana magic and calls him clever, but doubts an incomplete hanged man can win. The trial is updated. Ryuto must survive the celestial dragon, and if he does, his strength and max mana will increase. Ryuto tries to fly using his new wings, but struggles with the wind pressure and loses control. He almost gets hit by the dragon's attack and crashes hard, thinking he's in serious danger. The dragon calls his powers incomplete. Ryuto gets up after the crash, annoyed but determined. The dragon suddenly pauses, looking confused, as if something odd just happened to it. Ryuto notices this and quickly takes off into the air again, ready to try something new. Ryuto keeps dodging and flying around the dragon, which is getting more and more annoyed by his movements. The dragon compares him to the Lord of Flies and prepares to show him what happens to those who make a dragon mad. Ryuto knows another attack is coming. Ryuto realizes the dragon keeps trying to stall with conversation, sometimes stopping its attacks completely. He thinks the dragon might be hiding something, but he finally senses a breakthrough. Now it turns into a real life and death game of tag between Ryuto and the dragon under the moonlight. Ryuto is being taunted by the dragon, who calls him a useless fly that can only run and questions if he dares to challenge it. Meanwhile, a voice encourages Ryuto to keep going or face a miserable death. He asks how much time is left, and the response is about 5 more minutes. Zera stands calmly with her eyes closed, then appears before everyone with a serious look, planting her sword in the ground. There's a powerful presence around her, and someone seems surprised, noticing a light or energy coming from her direction. The dragon senses a huge crimson magic power coming from Zera, recognizing it as the Vampire Night King's heritage. The dragon realizes things just got serious and decides not to hold back. Meanwhile, Ryuto jumps in, not letting anyone get close to Zera, and unleashes an attack with a burst of power. Ryuto gets hit and sent flying, crashing hard against the rocks. As he recovers, the dragon starts descending, its wings flapping as it approaches where Ryuto landed. The dragon mocks Ryuto, saying that his attempts at provoking it are pointless and that it'll just wipe them out together. Ryuto panics, thinking it's all over and that they'll be killed instantly if the dragon gets serious. But he suddenly wonders if it's that strong, why did it go easy on them before? Ryuto suddenly realizes the celestial dragon has been holding back whenever his back was to the mountain. Even though the dragon could easily destroy the whole mountain, it avoided doing so and instead chose to come closer. Ryuto starts to think that the dragon isn't just being careful, it's actually protecting something inside the mountain. Ryuto braces himself and launches an attack at the dragon, using one of his special abilities called Cerberus. Black energy shoots out from his hand as he goes on the offensive, deciding that even a single hit might be enough right now. Ryuto is down on the ground after the dragon stomps near him. He realizes the dragon devoured his magic power. The dragon then tells Ryuto that it's over and attacks with black crystal-like projectiles, aiming to finish him off. Ryuto, unable to move and facing death, isn't afraid. He says he believes in her. Zera stands between him and the dragon, sword drawn, looking determined. The dragon seems surprised as Zera steps up to protect Ryuto. Zara shows up just in time, apologizing for the wait. Ryuto, relieved, tells her he'll leave the rest to her. Zara confidently tells him to leave it to her, and then swears on her blood, standing ready with her sword. Zara claims the night as her own, powering up with a surge of magic. She calls out the dragon for hurting her friend, calling it a damned dragon. The dragon is shocked and realizes Zara might be a direct descendant of someone powerful. Zara stands strong, using the power she usually hates, her vampire side. She decides this is her own power, not just the vampires. She reveals she carries the blood of the true ancestor, the Daywalker, the one who conquered the sun. Even the dragon recognizes her blood as the strongest in the world, something even a dragon can't stop. The dragon gets frustrated, calling Zara an ancient relic. Meanwhile, Zara admits she's always ignored her true power and has been sealing the magic she got from blood into her sword. Now, she's about to unleash everything she's held back. Zara decides to unleash all of her sealed power right now. She's about to reveal the name of her magic sword, the one she uses to protect the people who matter to her. The dragon looks on, sensing something big is coming. Zara finally unleashes the full power of her magic sword, calling out its name, Vampire Lord. She slashes at the dragon, and the impact is massive, showing just how strong this move really is. Zara uses Magic Drain, Nosferu on the dragon, draining its power. The dragon collapses and the trial is marked as a success. Ryuto gets a reward. His strength of existence and max mana pool both go up. Ryuto and Zara are standing in front of the weakened dragon. Zara explains that she only drained the dragon's magic power, so it can't move for now, but it's not dead. When Ryuto tries to talk, the dragon snaps and yells for him to be quiet, insisting that there's nothing more to discuss between them. The dragon is frustrated, calling Ryuto and Zara greedy adventurers and saying it hasn't lost yet. Ryuto thinks it's odd the dragon didn't use a powerful barrier to defend itself. Zara realizes something is off too. As Ryuto steps closer to talk, the dragon suddenly warns him not to approach, looking surprised and alarmed. As Ryuto and Zara try to reassure the dragon, they won't do anything. Some rabbit-like creatures suddenly start poking Ryuto's legs. While Ryuto wonders what's happening, the dragon panics, telling them to stop and not come any closer. Then, one of the rabbit creatures jumps forward, looking determined and making a loud KYU, KYU sound, clearly trying to protect something or someone. The little rabbit creature stands in front of Ryuto and Zara, acting super protective and yelling KYU. The dragon, clearly stressed, tells the rabbit to hurry up and escape, and keeps warning Ryuto and Zara to back off, saying it won't let them get away if they do anything to the rabbit again. Ryuto is confused, but the situation is tense. Looks like the dragon and the rabbit have some kind of connection, and the rabbit is trying to protect the dragon too. Ryuto and Zara both let out a sigh of relief, realizing there was a reason for the dragon's odd behavior. Ryuto pats the little horned bunny on the head, and Zara thinks to herself that the celestial dragon was actually protecting this small creature all along. The bunny looks happy with the head pat, but seems a bit nervous as someone else reaches out. Ryuto suggests they should talk things out, since there seem to be a lot of misunderstandings. Suddenly, the dragon bows its head, stuttering and apologizing over and over, clearly embarrassed about the whole situation. The bunny sits proudly on the dragon's head, looking relieved. The dragon apologizes for acting out of anger. Ryuto and Zara also apologize for not knowing the situation. The owl mirage, called QQ, is a rare beast whose meat gives huge power. So many races target it. Its wounds can heal with moonlight, and the dragon protected it by making a moonlight barrier. The dragon attacked because the group are adventurers, thinking they might hurt QQ. The dragon explains that the moonlight barrier was needed because high-ranking adventurers keep chasing QQ, tracking it with a marking spell. The dragon asks to be called Urdia, since its full name is too long. Ryuto considers learning more about the marking spell when he returns to the castle. They talk about the three main dragons. Only two of the pillars, and QQ call Urdia by that name now. When asked if there's an annoying one, Urdia says it's the sovereign dragon. Ryuto realizes the mysterious voice earlier was from a dragon. They talk about the sovereign dragon's interest in arcana, saying it only bothers people it's interested in and ignores the rest. Flying through the sky on a dragon's back, Ryu thanks Urdia for giving them a ride, despite being tired from battle. The flight is smooth, even at high altitude, likely thanks to magic. Urdia dismisses the thanks, saying it's repayment for hiding QQ. Ryu then asks to learn more about arcana, admitting there's still much he doesn't know. Urdia agrees, remarking that Ryu's skill is impressive for someone still incomplete, and adds that living long has its advantages. Ryu learns that the 21 arcana each hold immense power. The dragon explains that information gathered from books only scratches the surface, and there are deeper truths behind their origins. He He begins explaining about Gusen and succession, two ways arcana appear in the world. Within 20 years after an arcana holder dies, a new successor emerges under certain conditions. Those arcana that start with the belong to the succession type. Others, like the magician, awaken once specific requirements, such as mastering a skill, are met. However, some arcana conditions remain unknown. The dragon explains that succession arcana, such as the Fool, Hermit, and Hanged Man, can sometimes turn into godsend arcana when no successor meets the required conditions. Unlike succession, which follows a pattern, godsend appears randomly without any known rules for when or where it will emerge. Realizing this, Ryu concludes that his Hanged Man arcana is a godsend. Curious, he asks why his arcana is incomplete. The dragon replies that it once met the previous Hanged Man and recalls that their power was overwhelmingly strong. Ryu reflects on his desire to grow stronger in a world full of unknowns. His goal is clear: to gain enough power to protect Rurunoa and everyone in the Demon King's castle. Determined, he focuses on becoming stronger, while Rurunoa hugs him tightly, sharing in his resolve. Zera struggles to contain her vampiric impulses after overusing her magic power, breathing heavily as she apologizes to Ryuto. Concerned, he asks if she's okay, and she admits she needs blood to recover. Though nervous, Ryuto hesitantly offers his arm, but Zera's intense reaction makes him question if he can really trust her, as she insists it'll only take a little bit. As Zera loses control and drinks too much of Ryuto's blood, a sudden surge of power activates. The required condition for the Moon Arcana's succession is fulfilled, a blood-sucking act performed on someone with the Vampire Arcana. A bright light surrounds them as the process begins, marking Zera Vladaria as the new successor of the Moon. Ryuto, growing weak, realizes this overwhelming energy is what a succession truly feels like. After regaining consciousness, Ryuto is startled by a masked figure who suddenly bursts into the room. Confused, he demands to know who it is and where he is. The figure removes the mask, revealing herself as Shulvate. She calmly welcomes him back, explaining that he's returned to the Demon King's castle, addressing him respectfully as Master. Ryuto meets Fina, who praises his recent investigation and presents a new outfit made for Shulvate. The clothes match Ryuto's own and allow Shulvate to conceal her true appearance outside the castle. As Shulvat hugs him warmly, Ryuto reflects that even though he was only gone for a week, she must have felt lonely. Ryuto compliments Shulvate's new outfit, saying it looks great on her, though he adds it's a shame her cute face is hidden behind the mask. Flustered but pleased, Shulvate considers taking it off before deciding to keep it, since the mask looks cool too. Just then, Fina interrupts, reminding them that Rurunoa is waiting, and calls out to Ryuto to hurry. Rurunoa rushes to Ryuto's side, relieved to see him awake and safe. She scolds him lightly, saying she was worried and already reprimanded Zera for what happened. Ryuto, still flustered, assures her he's fine now. Seeing his recovery, Rurunoa smiles warmly, confirming he's truly okay while Ryuto nervously agrees. Fina suggests giving Ryuto and Rurunoa some privacy, leading Shulvat away to the tea house. Left alone, an awkward silence fills the room. Rurunoa hesitates, clearly nervous, while Ryuto waits quietly. After a moment, she gathers her courage and softly calls out to him, trying to start the conversation. Rurunoa suddenly puffs her cheeks in frustration, clearly upset but saying nothing. She turns her back on Ryuto with a sharp humph, leaving him completely confused and panicking inside, unsure of what he did wrong or how to respond. Rurunoa pouts, scolding Ryuto for being away for a whole week and demanding to know if he felt lonely without her. Flustered by her intensity and teasing tone, Ryuto stammers out a quick agreement, admitting he was lonely as she confidently presses him for reassurance. Rurunoa, still flustered but trying to act composed, declares that she'll allow Ryuto to hug her as a reward and commands him to do so immediately. Embarrassed, Ryuto hesitates, calling it disrespectful, but ultimately gives in to her order and steps forward, replying with a resigned, "As you command." In a quiet moment, Ryuto and Rurunoa embrace gently, the tension between them softening. As they hold each other, Rurunoa hesitantly asks if he likes her. Ryuto, trying to stay composed, responds with a calm and sincere tone, saying he does, respectfully. Rurunoa ends the moment, declaring the reward over and hurrying off, telling Ryuto to catch up later. Flustered, he agrees quietly as she leaves. Once alone, Ryuto sinks into his chair, covering his face with a sigh, realizing the whole encounter was far too much for his heart to handle. At the Demon King's castle tea house, Rurunoa confidently opens the 32nd Imperial Conference, declaring it with authority. The group cheers and claps, admiring her poise and charm. Ryuto comments on how dignified she seems, while others excitedly praise her. leaving a small creature nearby, confused by everyone's sudden enthusiasm. Urdia appears in a more elegant form, casually commenting that it's good to see everyone so lively. She asks Ryuto if he finds her appearance cute, catching him off guard. Flustered, he awkwardly agrees, which makes her blush slightly. Rurunoa quickly cuts in, ending the small talk and redirecting everyone's focus to their next topic, the mysterious village where the sun never rises. Rurunoa praises Ryuto and Zera for their success in the recent investigation, noting that the celestial dragon's actions restored peace to the village. However, she quickly adds that they seem to have grown unusually close during the mission, leaving both of them startled. She then shifts the meeting's focus to their next challenge, figuring out how to make the adventurers targeting QQ give up. During the meeting, Urdia explains that dispelling the tracking mark on QQ would require too many materials, so it's better to make the caster release the magic themselves. Rurunoa asks for everyone's ideas, and the group starts brainstorming. Fina suggests a curse that incapacitates opponents. Urdia finds the concept darkly interesting, and Shilvate jokes about draining them dry. Zera, however, bluntly proposes killing them all, prompting Rurunoa to firmly remind her that she wants a bloodless solution. Rurunoa proudly announces that she has a plan to handle the adventurers. Holding a book in hand, she declares that instead of fighting or harming them, they'll scare the enemies so badly they'll never return. With determination, she points straight at Ryuto, assigning him to take part in the plan, leaving him surprised but attentive. Rurunoa confidently declares that she'll make Ryuto famous beyond the demon country by presenting him to the world as a terrifying demon. Stunned by the unexpected plan, Ryuto can only respond in disbelief. Meanwhile, far away in the forest, something stirs among the trees, hinting that new trouble may already be approaching. In the forest, a massive serpent emerges, attacking fiercely. The A-rank adventurer party known as Shining Sword quickly engages, striking it down with precision. As the creature falls, the group celebrates their success. Proud of their teamwork and skill, the Shining Sword party discusses their next move after failing to defeat their target quickly. Lloyd reports that the creature's wound has already healed, and it's likely back near the Demon King's castle. Though some members question the need to pursue it into demon territory, Lloyd insists the quest can't fail, since it was commissioned by the Archbishop of the Lux Empire. Hugh points out that if they defeat the demons who took the rabbit, their reward will increase, turning this risky mission into a valuable opportunity. As the Shining Sword party advances toward the demon territory, Lloyd reminds everyone that this mission is only meant for scouting. Still, Q confidently declares that with her skill library, she can reveal any enemy's stats and weaknesses, making victory certain. While the group grows more eager, their leader warns them to stay cautious as they move into the next area, though one member quietly doubts things will go as smoothly as planned. As the Shining Sword party reaches the border of the demon territory, the atmosphere suddenly shifts. The sky darkens unnaturally, turning to night in an instant. Confused and alarmed, the group readies themselves as Lloyd warns everyone to stay alert. A tense silence follows, then the forest begins to stir violently, signaling that something powerful is approaching. A dark figure steps forward, cloaked in an ominous outfit that makes him appear more demon than man. Surrounded by countless magical beasts, including dragons, he radiates a terrifying presence. His attire, adorned with horns, claws, and symbols of beasts and decay, embodies rebellion against the divine itself. Watching this unfold, Rurunoa smiles to herself, declaring that this is exactly how the legend of a hero should begin. Rurunoa unveils her plan with excitement, announcing that their act will reenact the second coming of Verna the demon. Surrounded by dark energy and flames, his demonic presence overwhelms the forest, and Rurunoa commands him to frighten their enemies to the fullest, ensuring their legend spreads far and wide. The Shining Sword party immediately prepares for battle as a dark figure approaches. A heavy wave of black magic fills the air, shocking everyone. Ruri tries to use her skill to analyze the enemy but panics when it fails. His status shows nothing. Stepping forward calmly, Ryuto introduces himself under his alias, Hugin, declaring that he's there to welcome the adventurers as honored guests, his eerie demeanor freezing them in place. Ryuto, still disguised as Hugin, calmly addresses the adventurers, assuring them he means no harm and is only there to negotiate. His composed tone unsettles them, especially when he reveals he already knows their objective. When Q demands to know what they gain from accepting his offer, Hugin simply replies that the benefit is their safety, leaving them speechless at his quiet yet intimidating confidence. The negotiations quickly fall apart, as Ruri smugly declares they have no choice but to fight. Hyugen accepts this outcome without emotion. As Ruri charges in, one of her teammates suspects Hyugen is just bluffing and doubts his strength, wondering why someone powerful would bother with negotiation. But Hyugen silently prepares to show them otherwise. In an instant, Hyugen uses his chains to capture the entire adventurer party, leaving them helpless and panicking. With a cold stare, he asks if they'd like to negotiate now, making it clear just how outmatched they are. Despite being trapped, Q stubbornly refuses to negotiate with Hyugen. He hesitates, saying he didn't want to escalate things further, but then a loud, earth-shaking growl echoes through the forest. Shocked, Q looks up to see a massive creature stomping toward them, making the situation even more dangerous. A giant wolf crashes into the scene, towering over Q and the other adventurers. Q trembles in fear, recognizing it as the legendary Deathmound Great Wolf, and unable to understand why such a dangerous beast is here. The group is frozen in terror as the wolf approaches. Standing beside the massive wolf, Hyugen calmly delivers an ultimatum to the captured adventurers. With the threat clear and their defeat obvious, the adventurers have no choice but to listen. Faced with no other option, the adventurers reluctantly agree to release the marking. Hyugen bows respectfully, stating that everything is done as his master commands, sealing their victory without further conflict. The adventurer party lies defeated and unconscious near their carriage. Ryuto nervously confirms that everything went as planned, while Erdia assures him she only used a weak sleeping spell, so they'll wake up soon. She suggests moving them far away before they recover. Just then, someone off-panel calls out to Ryuto, catching his attention. After the battle, Zera awkwardly compliments Ryuto, while Rurunoa tries to hide her embarrassment, insisting she should be the one to praise him. The mood turns light as everyone bickers over who gets to thank him. Meanwhile, Shu, a bit confused, wonders if she was helpful and suddenly finds herself accidentally undressed, causing her to panic and call out for her master. Ryuto confirms that QQ's marking has been removed. He thanks Shuviate for playing the scary role, and Shu says she's just happy to help. Erdia celebrates, showing everyone that QQ is now free from the marking, and QQ the rabbit hops on her head, grateful and cheerful. Rurunoa praises Ryuto for his performance, saying he looked amazing. Ryuto feels satisfied that his efforts paid off. Erdia reminisces about the story of Demon Verna, noting how fitting it was for the role of Fear, and wonders if it's just a coincidence that Verna's appearance is similar to her own reverse form. The group reflects on the legend, which is well known and even considered a Bible by some. Erdia suggests they transport everyone and mentions that the chef is preparing a special meal. Ryuto says he'll take QQ to inform Fina first since Shu is hungry. Zera says she'll stay behind for some unfinished business, and Rurunoa quietly agrees, looking a bit serious as she's left alone with Zera. Rurunoa stops Ryuto to thank him again, admitting she felt powerless and frustrated for not being able to help him or Zera. She says she's really grateful for Zera, noting that Ryuto and Zera are quite alike. Ryuto insists that Rurunoa was the one who saved him, and says Zera really cares about her. He explains he's not afraid of Zera or bothered by her. He sees everyone at the Demon King's castle as a family, and that's how trust between them was built. Rurunoa praises Ryuto for everything he's done. Ryuto fires back, saying that if he's amazing, then the one who saved him, Rurunoa, must be amazing too. She laughs and accepts the compliment. Then, Rurunoa asks Ryuto if he'll listen to her secret about her arcana. Rurunoa starts talking about the problem, or distortion, between her and Nell. Meanwhile, the scene shifts to the Great Elven Forest, where the Demon King Altoeda Rururukia and Ridalka Ermel, the head of Ermel Duchy, are heading to meet the Elven Chief. They're a bit tense, hoping the chief will agree to talk, since it could get complicated if he doesn't. They're discussing how to break a tough curse. There are only a few people in the world who can even handle high-ranked curses. They mention humanity's 5 unexplored great dungeons, thinking there might be a secret treasure deep inside that can break the curse. The Demon King wants information about any of these places: Babel, the Abandoned City, Underground City, Sea Temple, or the Great Sky Hole. Any lead is fine. They also recap some of the tough curses faced recently, like the Magic Ceiling Curse and the Berserk Curse on the Deathmound Great Wolf, plus a forbidden spell from Rurunoa's past that nearly killed her. If the current incapacitation curse can't be undone, nothing else will work. They realize they can't keep hiding the issue forever. The scene is tense. One character explains that using ultra-black magic against the demon princess counts as high treason. The other person gets it and quietly agrees. In the last panel, the character says that when the time comes, they'll be the one to kill Nell. Flashback to 10 years ago. Nell is surprised as Ruru-chan shows off her magic. She's able to stack 8 magic circles, which even older kids thought was impossible. The narration calls Ruru-chan a genius, noting she pulled off something never done before, even at just 5 years old. Nell remembers how she used to look up to Ruru-chan. She was cute, smart, and talented. Nell dreamed of being able to use magic like her, so they could protect the country together. But despite trying hard, Nell couldn't make a 3-layered magic circle and struggled during training. Her father gently tells her to stop for the day as she's out of breath. Nell eventually realizes she just doesn't have talent for magic, even though her father and everyone else kept quiet about it. Time passes, and she joins Ruru and Zera, becoming a trio. Ruru keeps impressing everyone, even showing off a monster she hunted, while Nell and Zera watch in awe. The group of 2 becomes 3 after Zera, a quiet vampire girl adopted by the Knight Commander, joins them. Even though Nell knows she doesn't have talent for magic, she decides to work even harder, believing effort might be enough. The trio is driven by their dream to protect their country, and Nell becomes even more obsessed with studying magic, refusing to give up despite her limits. Nell's father apologizes to her, which makes her wonder why he's doing it, if it's because he couldn't give her any magical talent. She thinks that if even her dad is apologizing for her lack of talent, then who else could possibly have expectations for her? It hits her that nobody else really believes in her abilities. Nell listens as the others talk about Ruri and Zera's achievements, like killing monsters, and even damaging a supposedly indestructible dungeon wall. Nell hears that the other 2 are incredible, which makes her feel left behind. The last panel shows her, surrounded by books, determined to find something special about herself before she gets left out of the dream she shared with her friends. Nell tries all kinds of techniques in magic, but nothing works for her. She's frustrated and begs for it to stop, even in her dreams. Despite her efforts, she can't find anything she's good at. Eventually, she stops going to the Demon King's castle, feeling left behind. The last panel says things changed for her about half a year later. Nell's mother died from a curse caused by black magic. Her father tried to get help, but it was too late. Nell remembers her mother telling her to protect the country with her friends, saying she believes in Nell. Nell cries out for her mom, devastated by the loss. Nell is motivated by her mother's last words and wants to become stronger. While studying, she discovers a book about black magic and is shocked, realizing it might be the same magic that killed her mother. Her older brother hands her the book, pointing out she hasn't studied it yet. Nell hesitates but reaches out, pushed by her brother's words about becoming stronger. She takes the black magic book, deciding to accept it. Nell, driven by the need to be stronger, takes the black magic book from her brother. She accepts it, even with all the risks. Nell finds out she's naturally gifted in black magic, one of the rarest talents out there. She gets obsessed with improving her black magic, researching monsters and curses. The curse's power depends on how much hostility or resentment she feels toward the target. She learns to use sleeping curses on monsters, a berserk curse to mess with smart enemies, and a sealing curse for those who use magic. Nell is super happy and relieved because she finally feels like she can fight alongside her friends and keep her promise to her mom. But at the same time, there's a heavy reminder that the black magic she's using is the same thing that killed her mother. Nell talks about a distortion that grew inside her heart, something that got worse over time and couldn't be fixed. Right after this, a wolf appears, growling, hinting that trouble or danger is coming up. Zera and Nell spot a blood wolf, and Nell panics, wanting to run away. But Zera steps forward confidently and tells them there's no need to run. The scene ends with someone preparing to cast a spell. Zera stands her ground and uses magic against the blood wolf. Nell, watching in awe, thinks about how beautiful Zera's magic is. Nell is thinking about how Ruru-chan kept perfecting her magic, while Nell herself was stuck learning black magic. She realizes the gap between them never got any smaller. Zera and Ruru-chan celebrate defeating the blood wolf, asking Nell for praise, but Nell just gives a nervous answer and wonders if her smile looks okay. Nell steps up and tells the others to leave it to her when they ask for help with a tough monster. She uses ultra-black magic for the first time, a forbidden spell called the Incapacitation Curse, which can disable someone's skills, thoughts, and even life functions. Nell unleashes her magic, but it goes wild and explodes, surprising everyone. She realizes her black magic can go berserk and only works well if she actually has resentment or hostility toward the target. Even though she's shaken, she tells everyone she's okay. Ruru collapses after Nell's spell. Zera checks on Nell, shocked. Some kind of system or force confirms that the requirements have been met, and the succession for the devil is starting. The condition: using black magic that harms a blood relative, with Nell as the target. Nell is panicking as something strange begins inside her. Nell is on the ground, screaming in agony as something inside her changes. The narration calls this transformation the devil and says this was the first time Nell received a special name. The scene is chaotic and dark, showing that this moment is a turning point in her life. 2 weeks after the talk with Rurunoa, the scene shifts to the Demon King's castle. Ryuto is summoned for a meeting. The Demon King apologizes for the sudden call and introduces Duke Redalka Ermel, who is Nell's father and the king's younger brother. The Duke says he came to talk about Nell. Redalka says he wants to confirm something before starting the talk about Nell. He asks Ryuto if he's willing to die for Rurunoa's sake. Redalka stands up, bows to Ryuto, and asks him to risk his life for this. Redalka explains that Nell is heading alone to the Great Sky Hole, one of the 5 great dungeons. He asks Ryuto to save her. The manga explains how dungeons are the origin of monsters, and most have been destroyed after their cores were broken. However, there are still a few legendary dungeons left, like Babel, the Abandoned City, the Underground City, the Sea Temple, and the Great Sky Hole. Nobody has ever reached the deepest part of these dungeons. There's a legend that inside the Great Sky Hole, you can find the elixir Panacea, a divine medicine that can cure any disease, wound, or curse. Nell believed this legend and went to the Great Sky Hole alone. The group is talking about the curse on Rurunoa. Nell could have removed the curse if she had done it right away, but she was too young back then. Nell is probably heading to the Great Sky Hole to find a way to break this curse. The Great Sky Hole only appears in the sky once every half year, and it's got a strong magic barrier that's nearly impossible to get through except for people called Arcana holders. That's why Ryuto says he must go. Nell's father is worried because the Great Sky Hole is super dangerous, and he knows Nell wouldn't survive alone. Even though the curse would disappear if Nell died, he still wants his daughter to live. He remembers how young Nell begged him not to let her die because of the curse she cast, and he sees it as both his own selfish wish as a parent and the order that Rurunoa gave. That's why he's asking for help now. Ryuto decides he'll go to the Great Sky Hole, saying that Nell, Zera, and he himself are able to fight, but Rurunoa shouldn't be able to. Redalka thanks him. With this, there will be 4 people with Arcana trying to conquer the dungeon. Apparently only 21 Arcana holders exist in the whole world, so having 4 in one place is a big deal. A tall, confident elf woman named Red Kalis Imra bursts in, greeting the Demon King and demanding her promised match with Zera. She's introduced as a helper from the Elven Kingdom and is also called the Chariot. Redalka asks Ryuto to show her around until they get to Zera's room. Red Kalis Imra walks through the hallway with Ryuto, uninterested in him after finding out he's just a servant. She asks if he wants to have a match before they leave, but he dodges it. When they reach Zera's room, she bursts in loudly, challenging Zera and announcing she's there for revenge. Zera is surprised to see her, while Ryuto asks her to wait. Zera opens the door in just her underwear, thinking she made her guests wait. She freezes when she sees Ryuto and Red Kalis staring. Both she and Ryuto panic. He apologizes frantically, while Red Kalis just wants to fight. Zera quickly slams the door shut, totally embarrassed, and tells them to stop with the commotion. The group gathers in Zera's room, planning their next steps. Zera says she sees Nell as a sister and wants to do her best. Red Kalis admits she's more interested in Zera than the dungeon itself. Ryuto is caught off guard, realizing Red Kalis is pretty direct. They talk about heading to the Great Sky Hole using the Griffin, with Red Kalis wanting to check things out before discussing battle plans. Everyone agrees, getting ready for the journey ahead. Red Kalis gets excited after sensing a strong presence, thinking it belongs to a powerful man. She hears rumors about someone who beat an S-rank party and even tamed the Death-Mound Great Wolf, which is important to elves. Red Kalis decides that if the demon is as strong as she hopes, she'll make him her husband. Meanwhile, Zera gets nervous, realizing things might get messy if the truth comes out. Red Kalis teases Zera, calling Ryuto a weak servant and hinting that Zera likes him. Zera doesn't like the comment and tells Red Kalis to take it back. Red Kalis just smirks and says, "Oh, so you're indeed in love?" Zera looks flustered, not answering directly. Red Kalis grabs onto Ryuto, asking if she can just take him back to the Elven Kingdom with her. Ryuto freaks out and says, "There's no way." Zera and the others glare and shake their heads. Red Kalis laughs it off, says she was just joking, and proposes a fight with Zera after their main mission. Ryuto is left totally stressed out by all the chaos. Ryuto is lost in thought, wondering what Nell is thinking right now. He figures that Nell's actions come from guilt towards Rurunoa, but says that's more like self-sacrifice than true dedication. He admits he used to act the same way when he first met Rurunoa. Based on what he's heard, it seems Nell and Rurunoa never really talked about those feelings directly. Ryuto thinks about how Rurunoa once pulled him out of a dark place and decides he won't leave Nell alone, even if he has to help her by force. Meanwhile, Rurunoa looks somber, thinking about Ryuto. She asks him if he'll be leaving soon. Rurunoa admits she feels selfish for wanting to save Nell, but also not wanting Ryuto and Zera to risk themselves. Ryuto, looking serious but gentle, tells her he has a lot to say, but more than anything, making her wishes come true is his reason for living. Rurunoa, looking confident, tells Ryuto to bring back her foolish sister quickly. Ryuto stands ready with Red Callus and Zera by his side, answering with a determined, "As you command." The group looks set for their mission. Ryuto, Zera, and Red Callus are flying fast on a griffin, closing in on the giant hole. Red Callus explains that griffins have amazing stamina and speed, unmatched by wyverns. Ryuto is a bit uneasy with the ride, asking if they're almost there. Zera tries to hold on tight. They're about to reach their destination. Ryuto accidentally gets too close to Zera while holding on tight, since he's scared of falling. Zera gets flustered and tells him he's too close. Red Callus teases them and jokes about Zera's face, saying there's no need to apologize. Zera gets annoyed and threatens to smash Red Callus before they reach the Great Sky Hole. Suddenly, Ryuto notices something strange. A shadow appears, catching his attention. The group finally arrives at their destination and sees the massive rift in the land. They all look at it in awe. This is the legendary Great Sky Hole, crackling with energy as their griffins fly closer. Nell is rushing ahead, determined, flying straight towards the Great Sky Hole. The others spot her from a distance and yell out to get her attention, but she's too far. Ryuto realizes that if they don't hurry, Nell will enter the dungeon before they can catch up. They push their griffin to go faster, trying not to lose sight of her. Ryuto decides to jump off the griffin to catch up with Nell. Red Callus finds his move interesting. Zera casts wind feather magic to help Ryuto, making his body lighter so he can safely make the jump. Ryuto feels the effect, thinking he can pull it off now. Ryuto launches himself off the griffin, flying down at high speed while screaming. Red Callus and Zera are shocked, with Red Callus asking what Butler-kun is doing. Zera yells back, calling him an idiot and saying, "What are you doing? That's my line." Ryuto wakes up, unable to move, and realizes he and Nell fell into the Great Sky Hole. A voice calls him Hanged Man and reveals itself as the Sovereign Dragon, one of the 3 dragon pillars, named Palinda Megiddo, Paula-chan. The dragon explains that Ryuto passed out from the teleportation, but the devil, Nell, is already awake and taking care of him. Ryuto asks for an explanation of the situation. Ryuto thinks the others are somewhere else in the Great Sky Hole and decides to wake up and join them. Meanwhile, Red Callus and Zera are together, and Red Callus asks about the other 2. The Sovereign Dragon questions if Ryuto is really sure about their locations and tells him to listen carefully if he wants to conquer this place. The Great Sky Hole, originally called the Black Celestial Sphere, is actually an arcana research lab that created the Arcanas. The Arcanas are mysterious powers that have existed in this world since ancient times. Some tried to uncover their true nature. Among the Arcanas, there are figures like the Emperor, the Empress, the Hierophant, the High Priestess, and the Hermit. Long ago, people built a place called the Black Celestial Sphere to research the Arcana, a cold, never-ending machine built for that purpose. The experiments in the Black Celestial Sphere were brutal, mixing all kinds of species, abilities, bloodlines, and monsters, forcing them to breed, then killing them with curses. The Arcanas hid all of this to keep the Black Celestial Sphere a secret. Through endless deaths, they managed to uncover patterns of divine gifts and how they're passed on. They abandoned the Black Celestial Sphere because it was too risky, and with all the leftover magic, it eventually turned into a dungeon. The Panacea, the miracle drug, was created by the dungeon as a way to counter all the injuries, diseases, and curses born from these experiments. It's basically a product of all the countless corpses inside. The Great Sky Hole is hard to conquer because of what's guarding it. The dungeon is filled with G-rank gremlins, which should be weak, but they're not normal. They have huge brains and can't even stand up straight, so they seem defective. But something's off when locked in a room with thousands of these gremlins. The next day, only one is left, with no blood or flesh remaining from the others. An irregular evolution has happened among the gremlins, creating a monster called the Hunger King or the Goo Poison King. His strength can't be measured, and this dungeon is actually his prison. Nell smiles and says they should regroup with Zera and Red first, then look for the exit. Butler asks about the Panacea, but Nell says that's her own goal, and she can't ask more from everyone. Ryuto points out that no one has conquered this place alone before, and asks if Nell is really serious about trying. Nell says she is, and tries to sound confident, saying her One-E-san, big sister, is strong too. Ryuto asks Nell to look him in the eyes and answer if she really means it. Ryuto calls Nell out, saying she's just using the Panacea as an excuse and never intended to go back. He realizes her real goal isn't to get the Panacea, but that she came here to die. He confronts her directly, asking, "Aren't you looking to die here?" Ryuto tells Nell that even though he heard what happened from Rurunoa and felt angry too, this situation isn't about the past anymore. He asks Nell directly if she's really doing all this for Rurunoa-sama's sake, questioning her true intentions behind her actions. Ryuto, looking desperate, shouts at Nell that Rurunoa values her much more than just her abilities. He tells Nell that Rurunoa would never be happy if Nell died, and urges her to really think about it. Nell, sitting on the ground and looking shocked, tries to deny it but is visibly shaken, repeating to herself that there's no way that could be true. Nell, feeling crushed, wishes she had been killed back then, so she wouldn't have to watch Rurunoa suffer because of her. She remembers how nobody else blamed her for what happened, not even Rurunoa, who even apologized to her despite being unable to use magic now because of Nell's curse. Ryuto tells her that when everyone forgives her, but she can only blame herself, it leads to wanting to die as the only escape. Nell breaks down and admits she doesn't actually want to die. She just thinks dying is the only way she can forgive herself. She asks Ryuto to leave her alone, feeling trapped by her own guilt. Ryuto asks if Nell ever told Rurunoa how she feels. Nell, full of guilt, says it wouldn't matter, even apologizing wouldn't be forgiven. He explains that Rurunoa probably apologized because she understood Nell's feelings. Nell just wanted to be useful to everyone in the castle, and Ryuto says he understands, even if it's not really his place to say. Nell remembers how, before meeting Rurunoa, she just wanted to be useful to anyone. She says she was running in circles, and without realizing, tried to end everything by dying, thinking of death as an easy way out. Now, she understands that back then, she was really just running away. Ryuto encourages Nell to face her true feelings, telling her not to just forgive and forget the past, but to confront it head-on. He asks if she's ever had a sibling fight before, and suggests they destroy the giant hole and return to Rurunoa-sama together, reaching out his hand to her. Ryuto calls out to the sovereign dragon, asking for its help. The dragon responds, ready to assist. Ryuto then says he'll be killing all the monsters in the dungeon, and asks the dragon to lend him its strength. Ryuto checks his status. His physical ability and skills have increased because of the trial, and his skill limitations are released for now. He's got boosted crisis recognition and can stay calm in dangerous situations. There's also a special ability allowing him to rewrite the structure of Arcana once. Ryuto, Hanged Man, gets a massive buff. Within the Black Celestial Sphere, the dungeon, all time limits on his reverse state are removed. This means he can use his full power for as long as he wants, making him basically the strongest in this place. But he can only use this cheat-like boost once. Ryuto is about to activate his reverse power now that he's the strongest in the dungeon. He still hesitates for a second, worried about Nell's safety, but he's made his decision and wants to keep going. The focus is on protecting Nell as they continue forward. Ryuto tells Nell that he won't let her die, promising to protect her no matter what, even against powerful monsters. He's determined to stop her if she tries to throw her life away. He says that his resolve, and hers, is their shared pride. The system checks are complete, and Hanged Man Reverse activates. The system confirms a magic reaction with the sun, and his magic evolves as Reverse gets applied, surprising everyone. Ryuto channels the Reverse power and starts a chant for his master, manifesting a new power under the moonlit sky. He's surprised by what's happening. It's not the Black Lion's sword, but something new. He declares that with his green bronze wings, black gold tail, and silver ring, he'll trample over the thrones of gods and suppress everything. Ryuto declares himself the blasphemer. He accepts the role of being the strongest, so he can protect everything. He wields the arrogant princess's sword, Noa Lupia. The narration hints that he's the perfect hanged man, seedling, and encourages him to aim for the top. Zera and Red Callus charge into battle, quickly cutting down the monsters blocking their path. Both fight with confidence, not slowing down as they clear the way forward. Zera and Red Callus move through the dungeon, wiping out waves of monsters with swift attacks. Their teamwork is seamless, and nothing stands in their way as they push forward. Zera and Red Callus reach a door and sense a fierce battle happening inside. As they open it, they spot Ryuito's group trapped and surrounded by enemies, struggling to defend themselves. Makino and Hiragi are trying to hold back the enemies, but there are too many. Makino's vines can't protect the group any longer, and Hiragi is attacked by a shadowy creature right as she tries to call for help. Imra and her ally take down the enemies and save Makino's group. Makino thanks them, but Imra immediately questions who they are and why they're there. The group is a bit nervous under her gaze. Makino tries to flirt with Imra, calling her cute and getting closer, but Imra stays cold and puts a blade to his neck, telling him to just answer their questions if he values his head. The group explains they came from Lux Empire and ended up here when the monsters appeared. Imra apologizes for Makino's behavior and introduces herself and Makino. She reveals they're from another world. Makino then announces they're isekai warriors, summoned by the Lux Empire to save this world. The butler grabs the girl as he activates activates a powerful move, aiming to conquer the black celestial sphere. She ends up in an awkward and embarrassing position in his arms, clearly flustered by how close they are. Ryuto quickly speeds up, carrying Nell to keep her safe. He checks his status. His level is 157 inches, a reverse state, wielding the arrogant princess's sword. His stats are strong, especially power and agility. He can use several powerful magics, tied to 3 demonic princesses, like defense barriers, tracking swords, and a curse that stops healing. These abilities all disappear when his reverse mode ends. Nell notes how overpowered these skills are, thinking it's kind of cheating. Ryuto admits the princess's strength is his source of power. Ryuto wipes out a swarm of dungeon monsters effortlessly. Notifications confirm his rapid progress, boosting both his strength and physical abilities. The system marks it as a trial, noting he's already cleared hundreds of subjects. These monsters are just test subjects, and despite that, he shows no hesitation in eliminating them. His companion is surprised at how mercilessly he handles it all. Ryuto activates Medea's magic to engage multiple spells at once. Though he acknowledges the act of killing is grim, he justifies it by saying the monsters are already dead inside. He's doing this for the sake of those still alive, those he wants to protect. With Nell in his arms, he activates Luna Deus, ready to strike. A group of lost heroes asks for help getting back after being saved from a monster attack. One girl recalls how they were teleported into a hidden room in Lux City. Another girl recognizes them as the very people who abandoned Ryuto. She hesitates, torn between not wanting to help them and wondering what Ryuto would do in her place. A mysterious voice contacts Zera, offering help. It tells her to take the Otherworlders with her and hide Ryuto's identity. She's instructed to head to the bottom floor before the dungeon core, where Ryuto will meet them. Though confused, Zera agrees and acts like nothing happened. Only she can hear the voice, which identifies itself as the moon. Zera hears a voice telling her to take the others and meet Ryuto at the dungeon's bottom floor. Unsure of its motives, but lacking better options, she decides to follow the instructions. The group moves forward, though one guy treats the situation lightly. The dungeon layout proves tricky, with confusing paths ahead. The group reaches a large hall that feels like a boss room. Suspicious of the easy path so far, the girls sense something's off. One guy casually says the dungeon was simple, while another points out they wouldn't have survived without help. As one of the guys rushes ahead to fight the boss, the others hesitate, questioning why they avoided monster-filled paths earlier. Just as the doubt sinks in, dark hands emerge and grab the guy, catching him off guard. Black creatures swarm the guy as he screams in panic. Zera yells at him to run, then charges in, cutting through the shadowy enemies to protect him. Zera realizes her sword slash had no effect on the shadow creatures. Just as things get tense, Red steps in and smashes one with a powerful punch. Red notices something alarming. Physical attacks only cause the shadow creatures to multiply. Surrounded and out of options, the group realizes they have no effective way to fight back. Zera starts panicking, realizing it's all a trap. The boy pleads for help while one of the girls, unfazed, says they'll just keep fighting until something works. She then casts a spell, Magic Sealing Curse, preparing for a last-ditch effort. Ryuto appears just in time, holding Nell in his arms, ready to act. The magic around them intensifies, signaling a major move is about to begin. Ryuto arrives with Nell, both unharmed. The others are shocked, especially Red, who recognizes him as the mysterious demon in the black suit. Ryuto, now calling himself Hyujin, politely greets everyone. One girl thanks him, amazed that he wiped out the monsters instantly, calling him the strongest she's met. Red mocks him, while another voice says details will be revealed later. Ryuto simply says he was just helping his friends. The summoned heroes explain they arrived via a magic circle in Lux City and ask if Hyujin has heard of them. He replies calmly, calling it unfortunate. One of the girls says Zera reminds her of someone named Minase, which comforts her. Hyujin notes that female fighters aren't unusual here and credits Zera's strong sense of chivalry. As one of the heroes compliments Nell and flirts with another girl, Hyujin casually casts a double sleeping curse on him. The guy drops instantly, and Hyujin calmly plays it off while Nell watches quietly. Got it. Here's a direct, concise summary of this last page. One of the summoned heroes flirts with Nell and another girl. Hyujin silently casts a double sleeping curse on him, knocking him out mid-sentence. Zera apologizes, but Red reassures her she'll follow without hesitation if it's for Nell. They agree to return to Ruru-sama together. Nell then focuses forward. The panacea is just ahead. A voice suddenly echoes in everyone's head, revealing that the dungeon core, monsters, panacea, and the exit magic circle are all ahead, but warns that time is limited. Ryuto accidentally connects with everyone through the link, and they're shocked to realize he's the sovereign dragon. The situation turns urgent, as losing the hanged man would be a serious problem. They're given 2 hours to complete the mission before the exit magic circle vanishes. Nell volunteers to power the system with her magic. The rest are tasked with sneaking past the Goo Poison King to steal the panacea and escape immediately after. The group arrives at a site filled with human remains. One of them steps forward, shocked by the scene. A mysterious voice calls them poison guests, hinting at danger. As tension rises and everyone braces for what's coming, 2 mysterious figures observe the group, dismissing the idea of guests and seeing no difference between them and past intruders. With cold resolve, they state the obvious: kill them all. One grips his sword, ready for battle. The Goo Poison King introduces himself, mocking the group for walking into their doom. He declares this encounter a death match, calling himself the embodiment of those who've been toyed with. Ryuto steps forward, ready to defend the dungeon. Ryuto faces the Goo Poison King, recognizing him as the dungeon's strongest guardian. Though the man looks human, Ryuto remains cautious. As the 2 sides size each other up, tension builds before the inevitable clash. The girl with the Goo Poison King is revealed to be Adam, a powerful spirit tied to Lux's sacred foundation. Her presence makes defeating him nearly impossible. Ryuto tells Nell to find the exit magic circle while he and the others hold off the core guard. Ryuto clashes with the Goo Poison King, landing a direct strike. As the attack hits, he activates Theseus, one of his powerful defensive magics. The others watch in shock and awe as the battle intensifies. The Goo Poison King is surprised his attack was blocked. As Red and Zera strike together, he calmly calls out to Adam, signaling her to act, likely preparing a counter to turn the tide. Adam activates adamantite armor, instantly blocking the girl's attacks. Red and Zera are pushed back, shocked by the overwhelming defense. Their expressions show the growing pressure of facing such a powerful foe. Ryuto lands a solid punch on the Goo Poison King, but the enemy barely flinches, grinning in response. Sensing something's wrong, Ryuto tenses up, realizing this fight won't be straightforward. The Goo Poison King effortlessly dodges and counters, knocking Ryuto back. He taunts them, revealing his arm hardened with adamantite, signaling the real fight is just beginning. Zera takes a brutal blow to the chest, coughing up blood as she's sent flying. Ryuto watches in shock, unable to react in time. The situation just turned dire. Ryuto screams in shock as Zera is struck down. Blood spills across the floor, and he collapses, stunned and trembling, overwhelmed by the brutal scene unfolding around him. The Goo Poison King coldly calls Zera weak after her defeat. As he stands amid a sea of bones with Adam on his back, the overwhelming gap in power becomes painfully clear. Using a skill called Deceptive Double, the enemy creates fake illusions, and one of them manages to stab Adam. But the spirit girl calmly identifies the problem: poison. Ryu and the group time their combo attack perfectly. Medea casts her spell, Zelbulgra, right as Ryu gives the signal. But even with that overwhelming force, Adam casually watches as the wave of magic approaches. Medea launches her spell Pridom, piercing through Adam. The strike lands, black liquid bursts out, and for a moment, it looks like they finally managed to hurt him. But Adam just stares, unfazed, still standing. Adam stands there, bleeding but unfazed. He admits the hit was solid, something he hadn't felt in a long time, and even smiles. His enemies freeze. That should have been a fatal blow. But he's still standing, grinning like it's nothing. The tension shifts. Ryuto explains that Red Sama is guarding Nell, and that the moon's power is what saved him. One of the enemies starts breaking, realizing everyone here is an arcana holder, and saying he can't take it anymore. Adam, amused, calls it fun. But then comes the big question: why are you here? The enemy answers they only want the panacea, nothing more. Adam's response? Cold and firm. No way. Adam finally speaks. Surrounded by bones, he reveals the truth. He's a battle machine, built only to protect the dungeon and kill intruders until death claims him. But he can't die. Then he shocks everyone by saying he drank all the panacea, the ultimate medicine created in the dungeon, along with the dungeon's core itself, making it impossible to recover that power. Adam confirms that he drank all the panacea, but even with the supreme remedy, his thirst, his inner void, was not satisfied. He smiles, hungry for more battles, and challenges the others to another deadly fight. Meanwhile, the heroes face the harsh truth. All the effort, all the hope for a cure, was in vain. Even after everything, Adam remains standing. A direct attack is launched against him, but someone notices something strange. The incurable curse is being resisted, and the wound begins to close. That shouldn't be possible. Meanwhile, Ryudo thinks about the sovereign dragon and feels there's something important he needs to tell everyone. Nell realizes there's no hope left for a cure. The panacea is gone, and Ruru now carries the same curse. Amid despair, she hesitates, but when she thinks of her comrades fighting for her, she decides to act. She must ensure their escape. Nell tries to activate the magic circle to save everyone, but realizes she doesn't have enough mana. In desperation, she begs for more power, fighting against her own thoughts of failure as the spell refuses to respond. Nell learns a harsh truth. The reason she sought the panacea was because she couldn't undo her own curse. The voice confronting her reveals that the curse's power is tied to the caster's magic, and logically, she should be able to break it if her power hasn't exceeded the original amount. Yet, Ruru's curse remains an exception that shakes her. Nell is told that her curse was driven by jealousy and negative emotions like malice, which powered her black magic. Originally aimed at the sun, it's now suggested that the curse might have hit someone else too, possibly herself. Shocked, Nell begins to realize the truth behind her own magic. Nell finally understands that the curse wasn't only cast upon another, but also upon herself. Consumed by inner hatred, she admits she always deeply hated herself, and that feeling fueled her own downfall. Mel Ermel discovers that she was the one who cast the curse, driven by hatred so intense it sealed part of her magic. Because of that, she didn't have enough energy to undo the spell. Now she understands she must break her own curse to save Ruru, but the panacea has already been consumed. The revelation shocks everyone. The panacea still exists, contained within the blood of the Poison King Gu. Now, the final decision about what to do rests in Mel's hands. Mel runs to the place where the Poison King was gravely wounded, noticing the pools of blood left behind. Suspicious, she senses something is wrong. The enemy group is plotting something. Mel throws herself in front of the Poison King, determined to stop him from dying. Mel watches, moved, as someone reminds her that what matters most now isn't the past, but what comes next. Filled with new determination, Mel decides to face the present and leave the past behind. She activates her magic with a single wish in mind: to live alongside Ruru-chan. All requirements are met: magic, strength, and existence. The activation of Reverse from the Devil begins. Mel, surrounded by countless desires, declares herself an apostle of the sacred staff. She evokes images of fallen angels, rebellion, and destruction. The manifestation of a sealed and deep power is about to be unleashed. Mel remembers her childhood dream and, with renewed resolve, decides to protect everyone. Her transformation is completed with the activation of Sacred Remains Awaken EX Wakeover, revealing a powerful and holy form. Nell answers the call with confidence, even without knowing the details of the 5 great dungeons. With determination, she vows to overcome any obstacle in her path. Mel activates a powerful spell called Holy Field, Enchant Hexfold, finally breaking the curse. She thanks Mr. Butler and suggests returning to the Demon Castle with everyone. Meanwhile, the others realize their powers have started to overflow. Even exhausted, the girl asks for more magic. She feels that this moment is inevitable, as if it were her destiny. Despite the shock, Adam grants her request, and she activates the spell Adamantite Corporal Force, determined to continue the fight. The massive amount of magic within a body born without it triggers a violent rejection. Even so, the white-haired man declares with conviction that he will mark the world with the existence of the gremlins. This will be proof that his comrades truly lived. As the clash continues, everyone's emotions surface. Even amid pain and hatred, they realize that Poison is fighting for something greater, for the memory of his kin. Nell tries to stop his escape, locking down the area with her magic. Even surrounded, the Gu Poison King laughs during the battle. For the first time in a long while, he feels understood not through words, but through swords. To him, this fight is a dialogue. In response, the 2 warriors summon their arcanas, ready to crush his loneliness with sheer strength. The villain prepares his next strike, releasing an intense aura. The heroes go on high alert. The real attack is about to begin. The heroes unleash multiple attacks and abilities simultaneously. The enemy responds by activating his own techniques, ready for the clash. The heroes recover after the battle, exhausted and wounded. The group notices someone approaching through the corridor. The villain is pinned to the ground, impaled by swords and bound in chains. He looks at the girl before him and asks to be killed. The girl says that her heart is the dungeon's core, and if they destroy it, everyone will be able to leave. Adam hesitates, remembering that she once wished to see the world outside, as they had promised. Adam says his farewell, asking them not to forget him or the gremlins. The group departs, leaving the past behind after the battle. The girl shouts out a poison attack, and both she and her ally swing their swords down at the enemy with full force. The attack hits hard, making a huge impact. A loud voice suddenly echoes through the area, startling everyone. The group covers their ears as the overwhelming magic fills the air. One of them recognizes it. It's Nell, using her powerful spell. The narrator reveals that this outburst belongs to a spoiled princess who can't stand unhappy endings and refuses to stay quiet. Her presence radiates authority and frustration. The narrator describes her as a spoiled princess who despises unhappy endings, someone far too restless to ever stay quiet. The ground shakes as magic surges through the air. Nell steps forward, declaring that she heard everything. Her tone turns sharp and confident. If they truly wish to die, she won't stop them. But for those who still want to live, she demands they leave it to her. Rurunawa confronts the group confidently, pointing out that their determination won't allow them to abandon either the Poison King or Ryuto's team. She calls them selfish, much like herself. Ignoring protests, she turns to the Amethyst spirit and insists they join forces. With a bold grin, she declares that she likes her and intends to help, demanding her cooperation despite the confusion around her sudden offer. Rurunoa confidently claims she can help the Poison King escape the dungeon. The others quickly object, arguing it's impossible anyone tied to the dungeon core would turn to ash outside. As tension rises, the group's frustration spills over, and one of them snaps, yelling for silence to regain control of the situation. Rurunoa gathers everyone's attention and calmly explains her plan. She intends to collapse the entire dungeon and rebuild it from scratch. As she details the process, she describes how the dungeon's core, once exposed, would begin forming a new one on its own. Her explanation shocks the group, destroying the dungeon. Sounds reckless, but she seems fully prepared for it, revealing that she's been waiting specifically for this moment to act. Rurunawa explains that when a dungeon collapses, she can use her power to maintain the exposed core. Though others doubt the process could take centuries, she confidently claims that's where her role begins. Another member recalls destroying an indestructible dungeon in the past, their immense power still remembered. With 5 Arcana users now gathered, they realize their combined strength might make the impossible plan achievable. Tears well up in her eyes as she tells Poison that they can finally go outside together. He looks at her silently, then thanks her with a calm, genuine expression. The moment carries a quiet sense of relief after everything. Their long struggle is finally coming to an end. She tightly grips the sword, calling everyone to channel their magic into it. As their combined power flows through, the weapon radiates intense energy. The spell, the Black Star of Blessing, Laplace activates, and a blinding force erupts, marking the beginning of their final strike. As the spell activates, light bursts around them, and the darkness fades away. Nell calls out to Poison with tears of joy, realizing they've finally escaped. The two are now outside, free from the dungeon at last, as the weight of their long confinement lifts from their hearts. High above the clouds, the group soars on a massive dragon under a starry sky. As the wind rushes past, one of them looks out in awe, moved by the sight of the vast world before them. The long-awaited freedom they had all dreamed of is now real. The world they once hoped for finally lies open before their eyes. In a bright and festive hall, Rurunoa stands at the center, full of energy, announcing the start of a grand celebration. Decorations fill the scene as she invites everyone to enjoy the party to the fullest, her confident smile setting the tone for the well-earned moment of peace and joy. Rurunoa spots Poison avoiding the party and calls him out, insisting he join the fun. Despite his hesitation and guilt for his past actions, she brushes it off with her usual boldness, declaring him forgiven. With a playful grin, she tells him to stay in the Demon King's castle if he has nowhere else to go, lightening the mood as she drags him toward the celebration. As the celebration continues, one of the men comments on how energetic and unpredictable Rurunoa is, smiling at the memory of when he first arrived. Despite her chaotic nature, he admits that she's the reason he's there now. Holding a plate with neatly prepared cakes, he offers one to her with a calm smile, inviting her to taste it, a small gesture of gratitude amid the cheerful atmosphere. Rurunoa happily enjoys the cake, praising its taste with bright enthusiasm. The cook admits he had never tried cooking before coming there, but found it surprisingly enjoyable. Meanwhile, Poison reflects quietly his lifelong dream of escaping the dungeon has come true, yet now he wonders what comes next. Looking at Rurunoa, he realizes that staying by her side to figure out his new path might not be such a bad idea after all. Under the night sky, Ryuto stands on the castle balcony, lost in thought. He reflects on everything that has happened since arriving at the Demon King's castle, wondering if he truly managed to help anyone. Memories of his companions flash through his mind, their faces reminding him of how far they've come. As doubt lingers in his heart, Rurunoa approaches, softly calling his name. Rurunoa joins Ryuto on the balcony, brushing off the cold night air. She insists on staying with him, wanting to share the quiet moment. Ryuto, caught off guard, stammers while trying to thank her for everything she's done. Embarrassed by the sudden sincerity, she awkwardly offers him a reward, her usual confidence giving way to flustered charm. Rurunoa nervously declares she's granting Ryuto a great honor and tells him to close his eyes. Flustered but obedient, he does as she says. As she steps closer, placing her hand on his cheek, the air grows still. Their hearts race, and the moment hangs between them uncertain, tense, and filled with quiet anticipation. Just as the moment between them grows tense, someone calls out for Rurunoa, breaking the silence. Startled, Ryuto quickly steps back, fumbling for an excuse to leave. Flustered, she tries to brush it off, claiming he can get his reward another day. Before she can recover, another figure appears with a serious tone, saying there's something important they need to discuss, leaving her caught between confusion and irritation. Rurunoa lowers her head, admitting she finally understands the frustration of being powerless after the curse stripped away her abilities. She confesses that while she once tried to protect Nell, she now realizes Nell must have wanted to fight beside them. With a sincere expression, she apologizes. Nell, taken aback, quickly tells her it isn't her fault, trying to comfort her as the tension between guilt and understanding begins to fade. Zera steps in, putting an end to the back-and-forth apologies, declaring that none of them are to blame. The tension breaks as Nell smiles softly, thanking them both. Rurunoa brightens up immediately, grabbing Nell's hands and calling her a precious older sister, while Nell responds with equal warmth, calling her a beloved little sister. The moment turns gentle and heartfelt, sealing their bond with mutual affection. The group shares a lighthearted moment, chatting about how much Ryuto has changed since arriving and how admirable he's become, even if he's a bit reckless. As they prepare to head inside, Nell teasingly refers to him as Mr. Butler, suggesting it sounds too formal. Then, with a playful smirk, she hints at a deeper affection, leaving everyone surprised as she laughs softly, enjoying their reactions. Inside the Demon King's office, the group discusses recent discoveries. They've traced the Berserk curse to a human who used the same tome that once sealed Nell's power. Reports mention the man often recited a strange phrase tied to the Babel religion, a movement that has grown dangerously influential. The investigation soon reveals a shocking truth. The one behind it all is Lent, Ermel, Nell's own brother and the son of Luca. In a quiet room in Lux City, Hiragi meets with Muwu, noticing she hasn't been herself lately. After a hesitant start, the conversation shifts to something serious. A mysterious man who knew more than he should have. Muwu reflects on his voice, his posture, and how he recognized a woman's identity despite her disguise. Then, Hiragi drops a shocking question. What if Sakakichi is still alive? The air grows tense as Muwu, wide-eyed, leans forward and asks her to tell her everything. Inside a ruined temple, a mysterious figure observes the shifting world. They speak of the ritual beginning a convergence of heroes, adventurers, and powerful arcanas as the forces of all races intertwine. The world moves toward an uncertain fate. With a mocking tone, the figure mentions Ryuto Sasaki, calling him either humanity's hope or their greatest deception, and poses a chilling question: which of them will he choose to destroy? A year after the previous events, peace fills the Demon King's castle. Rurunoa, restless and full of energy, interrupts Ryuto's work, demanding he teach her a new game to kill her boredom. Nell and the others soon join in, teasing him as he tries to keep his composure. When someone suggests the popular King's Game, Rurunoa immediately changes the name to Demon King's Game, declaring it more fitting, as Ryuto resigns himself to yet another chaotic day. In the vast and fortified Demon King's castle, peace and mischief coexist. Rurunoa commands Ryuto to join their game, declaring it an order with her usual fiery confidence. Though hesitant, he accepts, with a polite, "as you command." The narrator reveals that within this powerful kingdom live 3 demon princesses who once threatened the world, now accompanied by the strongest butler who stands faithfully by their side.